Welcome to the Behind Them Sticks podcast, brought to you by TSWS Game.
Come and talk to me, Lennard Ray.
That's
Come
your
on.
name.
Come and talk to me. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby. Listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you. If you can, won't you take the chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Look, see we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you. No doubt about it, Boosie. I'm a Midwest king, looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know, and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass on the floor, and I see what's real. No disrespect, I just tell it like it is. Do you ever want some kids? What your ultimate goals? Maybe I can help with those. The mo was broke when he made you a blessing. You looking like a whole buffet, and I need some seconds. You say you had promiscuous ways, that was back in the day. I'll be alive, I say I did it. That shit was a phase. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you if you could play it. Won't you take the chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Lady, you so far ahead of these others, just like a ship on the horizon. Picking up on your vibe, signal stronger than Verizon. All the thoughts that I've been contemplating, ain't no time for faking or debating. You the one, ain't no mistaking. Look, I see you swag different. Always carry yourself like you ready, you know the mission. I had to know you, I'm tempted. I can see why you timid. Hold up now, baby, listen. Just take that dance with me, I can show you that there's a difference. I'm locked in. I throw away my playaways because you pop in. A shooter always shoot a shot. With you by my side, I guarantee we'll reach the top. I put that on God and them, I give you all that I got. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you if you could play it. Won't you take the chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me.
Welcome to the Behind Them Sticks podcast, brought to you by TSWS Game.
Come and talk to me, Lennard Ray.
That's
Come
your
on.
name.
Come and talk to me. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby.
Hey, you guys, thanks for keeping patient. We'll be right with you here in just like 2 minutes. I just have to run a couple things by him real quick, and then we'll be right into the show. Thank you guys for being patient and chilling. I appreciate y'all for being here. What up, Mr. Joanna Dark, Stank Mug? Good to see you, bruh. I see a few other people starting to roll in, so that's what's up. We'll see you guys here in just a moment.
For myself a queen, ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know, and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass on the floor, and I see what's real. No disrespect, I just tell it like it is. Do you ever want some kids? What your ultimate goals? Maybe I can help with those. The mo was broke when he made you a blessing. You looking like a whole buffet, and I need some seconds. You say you had promiscuous ways, that was back in the day. I'll be alive, I say I did it. That shit was a phase. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you if you could play it. Won't you take the chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Lady, you so far ahead of these others, just like a ship on the horizon. Picking up on your vibe, signal stronger than Verizon. All the thoughts that I've been contemplating, ain't no time for faking or debating. You the one, ain't no mistaking. Look, I see you swag different. Always carry yourself like you ready, you know the mission. I had to know you, I'm tempted. I can see why you timid. Hold up now, baby, listen. Just take that dance with me. I can show you that there's a difference. I'm locked in. I throw away my playaways because you pop in. A shooter always shoot a shot. With you by my side, I guarantee we'll reach the top. I put that on God and then I give you all that I got. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place. This nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes. This one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another fantastic episode of Behind Them Sticks with your boy Ham Solo 05 Gaming here with you today on the YouTube channel TSWS Gaming. You can also know us as They Said, We Said Gaming. So today I have an awesome guest with us. He goes by SeeHendo with his YouTube page, his app for Twitter, and I'm sure several other things. But he's pretty much known as Chris Henderson.
Yes.
And that's his name. That's what he actually goes by in real life. So good to see you, bro. I really am happy to have you on the show. I've watched some of what you've been producing. I've actually got referred to you by Stankma first and foremost. And I think I seen you in my chat for Strictly's podcast.
Yeah, Strictly's my guy. Yeah, Strictly's my guy. Shout out to Steak. I enjoy gaming content, so whenever I get a chance, especially being on the road or, doing my sports career and stuff like that, I'm able to lock in with gamers, man. And, I think you have a dope channel. I love what you do and how you're able to bring people and get them a spotlight. So, man, shout out to Strick, man. And, yeah, shout out to Steak, man. They put me on to you, man. So much love to them dudes. And I'm happy to be a subscriber of the channel as well.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you coming through and watching and checking out what I'm trying to do out here. You already know it ain't always easy, but you got to do what you got to do. But let's get into you, because that's what this show is all about today. It's all about who you are, where you came from, and how you got to where you're at, both as a gamer and then also as, a content creator, since you happen to be one. I don't always have content creators on here. Sometimes I have people that work on games, some people that don't do anything other than play video games and, just live their everyday life. But I'm always really happy to have a content creator on here, just so I can get perspectives from them, see how they do things, how they got into it, what their passion behind it really is. But before we get into all that stuff, I want you to go on ahead and let everybody know where they can find you, your social media stuff, if you have anything going on, in gaming to where, people might want to hop on the sticks with you and play. Just go on ahead and rattle some stuff off.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, like I said, once again, everybody that's tuned in, be sure to subscribe to my guy's channel. He's putting in good work for this gaming community. But yeah, my name is Chris Henderson, but I go by SeeHendo, and that's SeeHendo. You go to SeeHendo.com. You'll see a lot of sports on there. So, which we'll talk about the combination of sports and gaming, what I'm trying to do here. Definitely on YouTube, type in SeeHendo. Instagram is SeeHendo. Now Twitter, you put in between the C and the Hendo, you put an underscore. You'll find me there. Yeah, man, I got a lot of stuff in the pipeline. Gaming with a lot of professional athletes. Would love people in the community definitely to come in and game with us, and we have fun, and it's good to have people that are in that world to combine. Yeah, I call ourselves the regular folks, right? To come in and see those MLB all-stars, those NBA All-Stars, those NFL All-Pros jump in and game just like us. And those guys and ladies are extreme gamers just like us. So it's dope, man. And like I said, you can find me on those platforms.
Yeah, you have some phenomenal content, and you talked to some people that made me double take when I first got to your YouTube. I was like, oh no way. And I like click on it and I could hear your voice immediately pop up, and I'm like, oh, he's really doing this out here. He's really out here doing this. And I'm just like, we'll get into all that stuff here in just a little bit. But before, I gotta know, as a gamer, what have you been playing as of late?
Oh yeah, man. So, like I said, with the baseball season, my schedule's been sort of weird because either I'm at home in the middle of the night, like an early morning, because I'm there all day. But I like to carry around the Nintendo Switch, of course. So I finally got upgraded to the OLED. So I like to play Mario Kart when I'm out. I love Fall Guys, just different games like that. Now, console base wise, I mean, look, man, me and my guy, we jump on Call of Duty a lot. Like, I love Call of Duty. I like Team Deathmatch. I like playing with a lot of people at once. So I jump on the Call of Duties. I got my discretions about certain things on Call of Duty, but, I enjoy playing Call of Duty. I'm a sports gamer, obviously, being in sports. So you'll catch me playing NBA 2K, the new Madden, MLB The Show, NHL. I play all the sports games. And if I got to go between consoles, on the PS5, I'll jump on a little bit of Gran Turismo with the homies or whatever. Then, if I go to Xbox, I may jump into Forza, but a lot of sports games, a lot of shooters. I did get that Uncharted, that remake that they did, and I did beat the first part of that, so I'm going to get back into that. I still got to play Horizon Forbidden West. I actually got my second PS5, luckily, on the PlayStation Direct store, so it came with the code for Horizon, so I'm going to be playing that.
There you
I
go.
might do some streaming on that. So I got to expand my horizons, they say. So I'm going to definitely be jumping on that.
Yeah, no pun intended, right?
Yeah. No pun intended.
Yeah, okay. So with all the traveling and moving around that you do, you mentioned that you're playing on what Mr. Joanna Dark said in the chat, the SWOLED.
Yeah.
Have you thought of picking yourself up a Steam Deck?
Yeah, I actually have, man. And actually, I may be doing that because, I got to figure out something, man, because, like, I want to play some of my, like, those games. Like, I could be in the ballpark, right? And I don't have to be watching the whole game. And sometimes I'm on my phone anyway, tweeting away about other stuff. So, I would like to have something that I can actually play a real game. I'm not calling none of these games real, but like, if I want to play Horizon or something, or play like a Call of Duty, I think I need to try it out. I've heard mixed reviews, but eventually I'm gonna do it because I just ordered that Backbone thing. I don't know how that's gonna work with me in the ballpark, so I'm gonna try that Backbone thing and see how that goes with that. But yeah, man, I'm definitely all in on the taking my console with me kind of thing, or just having a handheld because, like I said, growing up, I had a Game Gear, right? So I wasn't really big. Yeah, so like having that big Game Gear with me, when I used to take that thing to school, believe it or not. So yeah, I had a Game Gear and stuff like that. So yeah, it's always you want a game, and I love to be able to take my games with me. And like I said, when I had that downtime when I'm at the stadium, a game can start at 7:00, right? I'm at the ballpark at 1:30. So imagine that. So I got like 4 hours of downtime. I interview a couple players and I need something to play. So yeah, that Steam Deck is definitely, hey man, if y'all recommend it, I'll get it, man. I'll do a whole unboxing and everything and try to test it out. But I really need to get one. I think it's time.
From what I hear, that Steam Deck lasts about as long as a baseball game is.
Okay. Well,
yeah, about 3 hours, about 3 or 4 hours, depending on like what settings that you're using and whatnot.
Okay.
I currently don't have one, so I can't like speak on specifics on how I feel with it and whatnot. I know Mr. Joanna Dark got one. He loves his. Kay Asante and all them dudes always are talking about the Steam Deck.
Well, yeah, y'all be sure to hit me up. Well, be sure to hit me up on Twitter, man, and shoot me a DM and stank know me. Like, if whatever y'all see, let me know, man, some tips or tricks or whatever I need to do, man, because I'm trying to advance this.
Yeah, do the damn thing. All right, cool. Well, man, you mentioned that Game Gear, and you got me to thinking about some things that I used to play. And man, I remember I had the Game Gear, but I traded it in and got the Nomad. Because that Nomad was on another level. Because I could just take my games and just take them out of my Genesis and pop them right into the Nomad. And that thing, I mean, both of them were battery killers, but that Nomad was on another level of just like, I ended up turning it in and trading, because back in the day, trading in games, get the new stuff and whatnot. I don't do that stuff at all anymore because this stuff is way more valuable, than it was back in the day. But yeah, man, those things were amazing. Those were the Switch before the Switch. I've been telling everybody.
Oh, I had a Nomad, man, and the funny story about a Nomad was that thing was so heavy in a way, right? And then, like you said, a battery killer, ultimate battery killer. I don't even know how I was carrying that thing around, but like, I carried this 2 backpacks to school, man, and I remember like, my grandparents were really cool about it, and I would take it to school and probably got in trouble more than I wanted to. Open it up in class and stuff like that. But at lunchtime, man, while everybody was hooping, I mean, I played sports, but man, I was sitting on the court playing my Nomad or playing my Game Gear. So like, I loved it, man. Like, it was just a good thing, man.
Yeah, I mean, that thing was fantastic. It was like the size of a freaking brick, though.
Yeah.
A big old black brick, and like with that like red on button or something like that it had on it, and you could actually plug that thing into the TV and have it work as like a home console. So when I say Switch before the Switch, I mean like on like almost all bases other than internet.
Yes.
But you didn't have DRM back then either, so you didn't have to worry about nothing. You bought your game and you were done.
Nope, you didn't. Yep, agree.
All right, so let's go on ahead and move on. So like, I was asking you just shortly before we got in here about like the first consoles that you got in, and as you guys know, if you guys watch the show, I ask everybody this, like, yo, what was the first console that you played? And for you specifically, you said that, you may have ran across having like an NES or whatnot before, but the one that like caught your eye was the Genesis. Am I right?
Yes. Man, it's not even close. I had a Nintendo,
not
right?
Even close.
And I remember like, see, the problem with the Nintendo was this. So I have an older sister, right? And
okay.
It was so she would kind of hog that console from me a little bit. So I mean, the only time we ever played was like when they had the Nintendo trackpad or whatnot. We were playing certain games and stuff like that, man. So the Sega Genesis was my first like true console that it belonged to me. And of course, obviously, that means what games was I playing. So obviously, Sonic is like that game, right? But I was obviously being in sports. Lakers versus Celtics, Bulls versus Blazers. My favorite game of all time, which we'll probably talk about, is Road Rash. I'm a huge Road Rash junkie. Like, I own every single version of Road Rash possible. Matter of fact, I got like 3 of them right here right now. So yeah, jealous. Man. So like, Road Rash was my game, man, and like, being on that Sega Genesis, man, because like, so
you got 3D jailbreak 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
You got 3DO version?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
My God.
So the 3DO version came with. So funny story, the 3DO version came with the soundtrack, if you remember.
Yes.
And one of my good friends, so we were at a game convention, and he wanted one. And I went to this booth, and I was just like, there is no way you have Road Rash. The guy looks at me and says, what do you mean? I got 2 of them. And I said, no way. Because I actually bought this one, which is the PlayStation version, right? Y'all know about this one. Mm-hmm. So, the 3DO version is basically the same thing. I showed that one to him. He was like, I have the 3DO version. I have 2 of them. One of them comes with the soundtrack. The other one didn't. He said they lost the soundtrack to CD. I was like, I don't care. I just want the game. So, yeah, I ended up getting it, man. Got one for my friend. And, yeah, man, I'm a huge fan of, like, Road Rash. Like, when I tell y'all I'm a junkie of Road Rash, they tried to do that one on PlayStation that was not Road Rash-like, but it was supposed to be. Yeah, Road Rash is probably arguably one of my favorite games of all time. So Sega Genesis, man, it brought me, like I said, it was enjoyment for me, man, because like I remember having to, getting the 6-button controller. Like, you remember when they came with the 6-button controller and different things and just different games, man, that me and my friends play. Like, I see the college football behind you. I remember playing Madden 94, having an awesome time, you know what I'm saying? Bill Walsh football, like all those games. So, like, yeah, Sega Genesis holds a special place in my heart. And, like, I know Sega's had their ups and downs, mainly downs, but, man, the Sega Genesis should be in everybody's Mount Rushmore.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah,
right here, I mean, this case is all beat the hell out of, but you know, all these cases are pretty hard to keep up on. But yeah, that's what's playing right here,
Yep.
right now is
Yeah.
this old Bill Walsh Sega CD.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, and I tell you, it's hard to find a good working Sega CD. The first one I picked up was busted. The lens could not read any discs, and I returned that and luckily found another one within 20 miles away. I felt lucky as hell finding that joint.
And we got to realize, man, as a kid during that time, you know, I was a young kid. So 92, I'm 7 years old, right? And about to be 8. And, you know, that was that time where people were questioning video games like Mortal Kombat of the world, those type of games. So, you know, my grandparents, they never were really picky on that, right? But it was funny. So one day, my grandmother said, hey, I got a surprise for you. I had some good grades in school and whatnot. And she comes home with this game. And when I show you this game, this is probably one of the anomaly games that if somebody got it, you know what it's worth. I have the box still, of course, but you know what this is right here, right?
Oh, no. Moonwalker.
So, you know, Michael Jackson Moonwalker. And you see, my grandmother, she thought that was cool because, like, you know, Michael Jackson, like, you know, he was on top of the world. And it was just like, yeah, man, Michael Jackson, I know it's a very cheesy game, but, man, that game, I told everybody, if I had to lose all my video games, the one video game that I'm always going to keep it, if I had to take it with me, will be Michael Jackson Moonwalker. Only because, you know, my grandmother didn't understand video games, but that was the one time that I didn't go to the store with her to get a video game. She got the game for me without me even saying I wanted the game. So, yeah, shout out to Michael Jackson and Moonwalker, man. Crazy game. I loved it in the arcade, but the fact that I had it on Sega was even more crazy.
Yeah, the chat's already saying, you know, Moonwalker, what the fuck? Wow. St. Comas said that.
Yeah, man. Like, hey, man, as a gamer, man, you know, I enjoy like those type of like retro games, man, that you just don't see every day. Like, you know, every time me and my guy, homies and stuff, we'll go to like the arcades. I try to find that Michael Jackson Moonwalker cabinet to play, man, because you know, you don't see that every day. So they know, anybody that knows me, we go to the arcade, the first thing I'm looking for is that game. And I know it's a cheesy game, but it's Michael Jackson, man. We talking about a legend. And the fact that he was able to do a game, that's insane.
Yeah, and Mr. Joanna Dark says he's pretty much saying, like, remember making the dogs dance.
Man, making the dogs dance, like, you know, it's all kind of stuff, man, that game. And like I said, it had the real music. Even though it sounded that sort of Sega sound effects type of music, but it had the real music, man. And to me, you couldn't beat that. Like I said, it's just, we need that, man. I love that. So yeah, definitely Sega Genesis though.
Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, that's amazing that you brought that up. I didn't even have that game on my scope of mind. So good on.
I'm everywhere.
Bringing it up. Yeah, good
I'm
on
everywhere,
you for
man.
bringing that joint up. But anyways, okay. So wow. So that's how you got started, was Sega Genesis, pretty much. That's what kind of ramped you up.
Yeah. When I understood the concept.
What made you like, or better yet, I should ask, what was like your favorite game after the Genesis?
I would say, cause see, like I love the Sega Saturn. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It may be the PlayStation 1, which means obviously that Road Rash game, because then I saw Road Rash in a different element. You gotta understand, Road Rash 1, 2, and 3 on Sega look the same. But then you get this PlayStation version. By the way, I argue this every day. The soundtrack from that game may be the greatest soundtrack I've ever heard. You had Soundgarden on there. You had all kind of different real artists. We really didn't have that. Like, you know, gaming back then, you didn't really have a lot of actual real artists doing music for a video game, like a whole soundtrack. So Soundgarden did that.
Soundgarden, though. Whoa.
Yeah. So Soundgarden did the soundtrack, right? So yeah, I'm a junkie of the game. So I would say the PlayStation 1, and obviously that game comes to mind. But then like I would say probably the Nintendo 64, because I held on to my Sega for dear life. Like, yeah, we didn't have a lot of money. So, like, it was one of them things, like, I wasn't working. So, like, you know, we used to go to Funko Land. I used to, you know, window shop in there, man. I always wanted a 64. You know, when I would go to my, you know, my pop's house or whatnot, he had a PlayStation. So, it was able to go over there and have fun. But when I went back home to my grandparents, you know, I still had my Sega. But then I got that 64, which probably changed my life for real, to be honest with you.
That's what's up. That is what's up. Okay, so Tell me a couple games through that 64 process. Like, because I'm assuming, you owned one and everything like that.
Mhm.
What was like the top 3 games you would say?
Well, I'm gonna go off of genre. So basically, I don't know what a fourth one is. I think it's in actually in the console. I just picked up these 3. So of course, who never played this, man? Y'all played this.
Oh,
right?
let's go. Yes, absolutely.
I see the poster behind you, by the way. Love the poster, by the way. Of course, my favorite wrestling game of all time, Revenge.
Okay.
Revenge is just some greatness. This is WrestleMania 2000, of course. No Mercy is somewhere in there. So, like, that I would just put that as one game because I was able to play those games. And luckily, later in life, I got friends that travel the world, so we got to actually get to play virtual pro wrestling, which is the same game essentially on the same engine and stuff. So I would definitely say the THQ Aki wrestling games were that game. So that's one set. I would say obviously 007, man. Like, I sucked at that game. I couldn't believe how bad I was. Considering the fact that I love shooters, I hated playing my friends. Like, I had a friend, like, he would go pick Odd Job. Like, y'all know who Odd Job is.
Yeah,
so y'all already know
the shortest dude in the game. Yeah.
I never knew that. So I never knew what he was doing. I remember he would just run around with that golden gun and go crazy. And like, I was like, come on, man. And then of course, when Perfect Dark came out, I mean, we all played. You had to get the expansion pack, do all that. That was that game. And I would say Zelda Ocarina of Time. Because I really wasn't big into I really wasn't big into Zelda, right? And my friends was like, they were huge into it. And then I remember seeing the game, so you gotta understand, all I ever saw was a black and a gray cartridge. I didn't know a gold cartridge existed. I'm just getting into 64, and Ocarina of Time popped up, and it sounded beautiful. The game sounded beautiful. You know what I mean? Like the sound, the music, everything that was involved into it. And I remember sitting on there for like 5 hours, not like hours a day, not knowing what I was doing, but I just enjoyed playing the game because the way it was. And yeah, I would say those 3 games. So definitely 007, any wrestling game. And I'll throw Perfect Dark and 007 in the same boat, and then definitely Ocarina of Time for sure.
Yeah, and I think that Tony Hawk game was in a blue case as well.
I actually had that game. So yeah, Tony Hawk Pro Skate. I seem to forget that, and like I said, that was an impressionable time for all of us as well because during that time, like skateboarding became like they had Dave Mirra with his BMX game, right?
Dave Mirra BMX. They had the others being Matt Hoffman.
Yeah. So you had all these games, and like I said, Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I just remember, you went to the warehouse. You probably sat in the warehouse 10 hours a day just trying to do kick flips and stuff. So yeah, that's definitely another game as well.
You're trying to jump over that damn thing in the center.
Glass thing.
You need to bust through the glass and like not touch anything. Go from one end to the other. That still feels hard. I even busted out the PS5 version because they have it on. They have it on like PlayStation Plus or something like that. Yeah. And to this day, it still gets on my nerves trying to jump the.
I don't even know how I'm so upset, man, because when we grew up, there was no such things as trophies and achievements. I would love to know if there was a way I could find out how many hours I put into that game. It may be insane. Because like I said, they had the one like level with the mall. You remember the mall level and stuff like that? Oh yeah. Go down the escalator and stuff. Like, yeah, man, like it got me into skating, man. Like, I didn't know who Jeff Raleigh was. I didn't know who none of them dudes was. Like, I was in the skate. I had a friend that was like he was wearing the Vans and wearing the skateboard shoes. We was laughing, but then we didn't realize it was actually a culture behind it. And that brought me into that skateboard culture. So, shout out to the skateboard culture, what it is, and shout out to Tony Hawk for being a pioneer.
Right, I used to get clowned for wearing some Vans and stuff like that because everybody wear Vans. That was the shoes at Payless back in the days. Yeah. If you remember Payless, I mean, you've seen all sorts of skater shoes at Payless all the time, and I was one of those kids that I got a big foot and I got a wide foot, and it was easy to go to Payless and for me to find some shoes when I was young. But there was that game that was blue. There was even the Spider-Man game that was a red case. Yes, as well. I actually still got that one as well. But moving on from 64, I'm guessing you went into PlayStation at that time, or did you have PlayStation before 64?
So I had to. So like I said, at my dad's house, he had the PlayStation. So okay, I jumped.
Was
I
that the
guess because
grown folks? Was that the grown folks console
Yeah.
back then?
Well,
Because it
I don't
was in
know what
my
it was.
house.
I don't know what it was, man. But my grandma and them, I think they just saw Nintendo and they got happy because it looked really like it wasn't crazy like Mortal Kombat. Which I said, my grandparents never blocked me from playing any games. But for some odd reason, I think what it was, my friends had got a 64, so it was like time for me to get one. So I was kind of like, I told her I wanted a 64, and yeah, she made it happen. But I think it was either I never until later in my life actually owned the PlayStation 1. I would just go to my dad's house every weekend and play it. But I would say Dreamcast would have been next for me because
Yes.
because the Dreamcast, man, I think it may have changed. It may have changed. Like I had a PS2 because like the PS2, I got lucky with that one. So we was at Circuit City, man, and I had to lie to my grandma. So I told my grandma months before this, my console wouldn't work, my 64, which it really worked. I hate I lied to her, God rest her soul, but she ended up giving me a PS2. Around this time I'm in high school, so I'm able to work and stuff like that. I had a job, and then I was able to put some money together, man. I ended up getting that 64, not 64, but PlayStation 2, but that Dreamcast changed my life as well because I didn't think we was gonna be able to play. Oh man, obviously. NFL 2K, NBA 2K, but the one game that really got me going was Crazy Taxi. I love Crazy Taxi.
Oh, yes.
I wasn't a big fan of any of the UFC, those type of games, because it got kind of weird.
You like Ready to Rumble?
Shout out to Afro Thunder, man. Yeah, man. It was a time, man. But yeah, I thought I would never see in my lifetime anything more advanced in technology because you had the BMU. You had different things. Matter of fact, crazy enough about the Dreamcast, it's hard to find a Dreamcast today with a good price on it, right?
Right.
So one of my good friends, he may be listening right now, watching as well. Me and this dude grew up together I would say about 2 years ago. He was like, man, I really need to get me a Dreamcast, but it costs too much. Well, I have 2 Dreamcasts, so I actually gifted him. Me and him grew up together. And I remember the days of like, one of us had a console. We just go to each other's house, and I gave him one of my Dreamcasts, man. It was pretty dope to see him get that, and like I said, he was just happy about it. But yeah, that Dreamcast changed lives, man. Like I said, that BMU. I love the fact that people came over. We play NFL 2K. You couldn't see my playbook because it was
right. It was on the VMU. Yeah, it was on your controller. It was hard to see it sometimes.
It was definitely hard to see it. Yeah. And that's when I had the realization about the importance of having memory cards and stuff. But then the online kind of, it was real clunky. You had dial-up. My grandmother, that's the one thing she hated about the console because you remember back then when you got on the internet, it took off the phone line in your house. So,
right.
I'll be on there for 5 hours a day. My grandma ain't nobody called the house. And the reason why ain't nobody called the house, because I'm on the internet, using the internet up. So, yeah, man, shout out to Dreamcast, man.
Yeah, Dreamcast of Marvel versus Capcom was fire.
Yeah.
Oh man, I played some great games on there. I think Jet Set Radio.
Jet Set Radio. Jet Moto, yeah.
Man, there is some fantastic, and of course, Mr. Joanne Dark. Before you even say up, he already did say it. My bad. Code Veronica. I was gonna throw that out there. That was on the Dreamcast as well. So yeah, there was some fantastic games on that console. I loved it. I thought it was super advanced that they had 2 ports for memory cards because the 64 only had the single one, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I was like, man, I can put 2 memory cards in here. I could put 2 VMUs in here. I could put a VMU and a Rumble Pack in here. The Rumble Pack, I still that joint right here. I got the Mad Cats version of it. Remember Mad Cats back in the day?
Hey man, we used to clown on each other. See, it's funny how we look at it now, but me and my homies used to clown each other because when your controller broke, you had no choice, man. I remember going in I think it was like one of the drugstores, man, and got a Mad Cats controller, and they worked fine, man. They was killing me for it because the Mad Cats controller I had turbo button on it. So like they thought I was cheating or whatnot, but the controller lasts, man. I actually still got that Mad Cats controller too, which is crazy.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, shout out to Mad Cats for the original Xbox S controller, the smaller one. I got the Duke laying around here, right? Yeah, I got the Duke right here. The
Big boy
big
there.
boy. Yeah, it's a big boy. But back when I was young, I didn't like how big this controller is. Now that I'm an adult, I'm like, yeah, this is cool. This is actually really comfortable now that I'm an adult. But when I was young, I hated it. I hated how big it was. I felt like I had to reach with my thumbs around to push buttons. So I went out and got a Mad Catz, like they had like an S controller or something like that. Yeah. That was like it felt like it was like a third of the size. It was insane. I think even the black and white button was like switched into a different spot on the controller as well. It was. Yeah, so that was pretty dang dope. I used to love those back in the day. But moving forward, so the PlayStation 2, tell me how your experience was online with that. You said it was a little clunky for you, right? Yeah. And I mean, it was a wild setup back then, right? Because you had the dial-up, you had to screw in the back, the modem onto the...
I had to buy that thing, yeah, man. I had to buy it because I didn't have one, so... It was, I mean, the thing is this, man, because then it was like, I really wanted to focus on my sports games at that point, right? So, you know, ESPN 2K, you know, NBA 2K, you know, Madden, of course. You played them kind of games on there, man. We didn't have the voice interaction and stuff, but the fact that somehow, some way I could find my homeboy or, you know, get on the game. Like I said, it was no gamer tag tied into it, right? So it was rough, man. And like I said, I enjoyed it, man, because like I was having a field day. I had the one thing I will say in my lifetime that internet was in my house. I've always tried to make sure I had the best internet. So I never had
Roadrunner.
Man, it got to the point. I remember one time, man, I almost went to I started crying one time, man. My internet went out, man, and like they was talking about 2 weeks. It'd take a week for them to come out. And of course, back then we wasn't so, you know, profound that you got to live with the internet in your house in order to live. So I remember going to the mall, and there was this thing called Clear. There was like the internet you could buy. It's almost like prepaid internet. Man, I bought that just to make sure I can get on. But it was a cool experience, but I mainly used it for sports. Because then I was just like, it seemed like to me, the sports games worked a little bit better. And like I said, I had a good time. I wish, like I said, gamer tags were a thing because I would have loved to interact with people in a more different space at that time. And like I said, that was before all hell broke loose when them next consoles came out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, we're actually before I jump to the next generation, I want to know about your experience with the Xbox throughout that PS2 generation. I'm wondering, did you even own one or did you just play it? Okay, go on ahead and let me know what your experience was like.
So, unfortunately, well, I won't say unfortunately, but my friends, they called me the Xbox fanboy. Well,
goodness.
Yeah, they were that was a thing. So like it really was a thing. So I remember
is a thing.
I'm not anymore. I mean, I got them all. So like now maybe like as an adult, I can afford some of these things. So I don't have to like pick and choose. But you know, I remember I was working at Sam's Club, right? So that big Xbox came out. Man, I was like, man, that thing looked like a briefcase. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, man, what is this console, man? And I remember the first game I seen was NFL FIFA, had Peyton Manning on the front. So I was like, man, let me see how this looked. And I mean, I was like, damn, man, this ain't look crazy. It was on a plasma TV, and I was like, you remember plasma TV? So you had that money to have a plasma, right? Man,
yeah, when them lights went out, you were in trouble.
Oh yeah, and then your house, you know, if you left it on all day, your whole house will turn to a heater. So, yeah, man, I remember playing that, and of course, Inside Drive. So, like the sports games got me attached to it. I remember getting one, man, but then all of a sudden, the PS2 was just still in my life, and it was hard for me to make that switch. But man, I was really consistent about playing that Xbox, right? And like I said, the one complaint that you had, which I had, was that Duke controller. Like try explaining to them, you know. And it's weird because the Dreamcast controller is somewhat of a gaudy controller too, right?
That's big as hell too. I mean, like, let's put them next to each other right now. I mean,
they literally are the same. I think. They may not be as honestly, it's the same control. And it's crazy to me that all my homeboys, they would just be like, man, that controller too big. And I'm like, bro, we play Dreamcast every day for 10 hours a day. You didn't complain. So
the thing about this one though is it's so wide. Though the Dreamcast controller, like the back of it right here, is really thin, so it's easy to grasp onto, to where the Xbox controller is like super rounded and like it feels like a reach for some of the buttons.
Yeah. So like I said, man, the sports games really took over for me. I didn't jump into the Halo world until that next generation. But yeah, man, when I saw those games, I was like, all right, man, I thought I really saw something with the PS2 and Dreamcast, but this Xbox came out, you couldn't tell me nothing. I mean, I stopped playing Madden. I mean, I was playing Inside Drive. You remember the game with stuff? Man, what was that game, man? It was a few other games that I had, man, that was, it really had my attention. Like I said, I thought it was the next greatest thing. I mean, it was, because what happened in the next generation, but you know, I was probably the only person I remember outside of a few of my homeboys that actually had an Xbox. So when people came over to my apartment, they was like, man, what the hell is this, man? Like, it was always PlayStation, or you still had that Dreamcast, even though it was like defunct at the time. And it was like, oh, you had a Nintendo GameCube, which I ended up skipping. I skipped that. It was just like the money at that time. I had no choice. So yeah, man, I got lucky with the Xbox. And yeah, man, the Xbox was a weird time because I didn't understand the concept. Like, it was Microsoft. I mean, like, you know, I remember going to like when Funkoland started changing over to GameStop, man, like, and you get them Game Informer magazines, and then you go, you know, when you used to go into the store and you get them magazines, you look in the back for the codes or whatnot. I started seeing this thing like a Microsoft console, and of course, the worst thing that Sam's Club could have ever did was take me out of I was pushing, because I wasn't old enough to work in the store. But when I turned of age to work in the store, they pushed me. I went straight to electronics. That was the worst thing they could have did. So they put me in the department that had all the toys. So, you know, and I think it may have helped them out too, man, because I was able to sell any damn console that you wanted, right? And like I said, I would sit there just to get, you know, when kids come in, I say, hey, man, you want to see this new Xbox? And I get the controller. You remember they had the controllers where they were built in, and you sitting there looking on that CRT and playing. Like, it was like that, man. So like I said, yeah, the Xbox was a dope experience. I just hate how big that console. I can't believe we actually, you know how crazy that looks now, man. That's a crazy looking console, but yeah, definitely a good time.
Do you think that people are going to be looking crazy at the PS5 in a couple of generations?
You know,
you look at that console and it's bigger than the original Xbox.
Yeah, you know, when I look at, like, say I got the black, you know, cover on mine, and I did that day one because it looked weird. So the Xbox Series X is next to it. So, man, one thing I will say is this: it looked like a spaceship. Like, honestly, I think my wife thought we had a new modem when I took it out. She thought it was like some big ass modem, and I was like to explain to her, nah, that's the PS5. It's gaudy. It's huge. I don't know what they could do, man. I mean, maybe you could make it smaller. Look, I done got to the point in my life now where I don't care about the aesthetic of the console as long as it plays good. I know there's some people right now that hate the way that thing looks. I just think it looks better standing up. I know people lay theirs down, but I like to stand mine up. I think it looks better standing up. And like I said, you can't really see it because it's all blacked out back there. But yeah, it's right next to that Series X. They make Series X. Yeah, and the Series X right next to it, man. It makes the Series X like a little nothing over there. So yeah, man, I think aesthetically, I'm glad they let you customize the case because that thing looked crazy with that white case. Somebody had like one of them little plug-in fans that looked like one of them, man. So yeah, man, I think we will. I think we'll go back and say, what the hell we think
said
about
it? Looked like a Dyson.
I mean, look, man, we was out there plugging in. Remember when the Sega CD came out, man? We was putting the CD thing inside we was doing all kind of crazy stuff with our consoles and how they looked. Like I said, from an aesthetic standpoint, I don't know if like you could top what the PS2 looked like. I wasn't a big fan of how the PS3 looked like. The PS4 was cool, just something simple. The Pro was kind of bigger, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what they could do at this point to make it.
I don't know. They're running out of ideas, I guess, because that PS5 looks weird, and the Xbox is literally a box.
Yeah,
which,
it literally
which kind of, I guess at least that one makes sense.
Yeah, man. Compared to the fact that, you know how, man, look, man, that's one thing. You know, like we were already quote unquote dope fiends for these consoles before they dropped. So anytime somebody leaked out how it looked, I remember there was one picture. That picture of that PS5 that was leaked out, it looked like a modem for real. It was like some weird like U-shaped thing. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna tweet it to you. That thing looked nothing like what we just saw here. Then when I saw it, I was like, okay, we'll see. And I said, man, why would they do it in white? They should have did it in black or even do the anniversary like PS1 gray. You know what I mean? Something like that.
That would have
Hey,
been
it is what it
dope.
is. Yeah, it is what it is, man. Like I said, I will take a great console any day over how it looks. Because man, it could be the best looking console, but the games don't work, or the games is crappy, or the console crappy. They don't really do us no good.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at the 64 right here. That thing looked crazy too, but it's small
Yeah,
and pretty compact, so it like doesn't really bother you.
yeah, man. The 64 is so simple, man. And like I said, when I got my 64, that was the one that came with that purple clear controller. So like I got that, my grandma got that little bundle and whatnot, man. I remember we had a field day, man, and yeah, of course like I said, the PS5, I think it is gaudy looking.
Okay, well, let's rewind back to where we were. I want you to let me know what your 360 PS3 how was that generation? Were you more on the hype of the 360? Because when that thing came out, it was selling like hotcakes, right? The PS3 was cool, but it was really expensive, and I don't know, the games just weren't quite there for that one until a little bit later.
Yeah, so at this point, I'm definitely 360 took over, man, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that the online play was really a big deal. Once again, you know, there was a Circuit City not too far from me where I lived at, and I remember going in the store and like they were talking about this console dropping, and I was like, I knew about the Xbox, but then like I said, internet wasn't a thing. We didn't have social media, right? So you just heard word of mouth, and I remember, man, I saved up enough money, man. I got it. I remember sitting outside with the homies, and we got that 360. Little did I know I was going to end up having to buy like 10 of those things because of the red ring of death.
Oh yeah.
I tried every trick. I put it in the freezer. I wrapped a towel around it. I did everything. So I did all that stuff. And yeah, man, I was definitely
really actually gave a damn about that thing.
Oh man, I look, man, to this day, I can't believe I went through all those systems, and you know, the 360s. I went through at least about 10 of them. I remember it was a point in time every 2 months I was at a pawn shop hoping that they could just refund me or figure it out, and they was like, nah, you got to get another one. I saved up, I was spending money, man. I probably was late on rent every month, but yeah, I was doing that, man. And yeah, the 360 took over, and like I said, for me, it was games like Left 4 Dead. You know, that's when I started getting into shooters, and of course, you know, Call of Duty comes in my life. Modern Warfare 2 changed a lot of what we think about.
I think that changed the essence of gaming right there. Was Call of Duty 2.
I will say this right now. If you ever want to learn what cyberbullying is, go play Modern Warfare 2 back in that time. Modern Warfare 2, you know, that wasn't once they realized that you were black. Oh man, you once they realized your voice and you were black. Oh man, I was called every name in the book besides my name. So yeah, man, Modern Warfare 2, you know, Left 4 Dead, which is one of my favorite, I say top 10 games of all time, especially Left 4 Dead 2. You know, I started getting into the Halo a little bit, right? Like, because then I'm understanding the concept of shooters and how it works. Like I said, I tried the SOCOM on PlayStation, really went into it. Now, I did like Ghost Recon. So like all those first and second Ghost Recons that were on PS2, I enjoyed those. So, but it wasn't to the extent, the level of like, hey, we online playing. You know, Xbox Live was amazing. The fact that you had a party chat. I just never forget, man, the first time I jumped into a game and I realized none of my homeboys are here with me, but we in the party talking. Right. And that was crazy. And that was crazy. Like I realized, what the hell was this when we were kids, when I had to, you know, go to my grandma looking sad, can they come in the house and play the game with me? You know, kind of thing. Like you had to go ask your parents. Imagine we had that access. So, you know, 360 was definitely there. The PS3 for me, it was just more about, you know, I got so deep into Xbox, it was like, nah, ain't nothing beating this. But, you know, one day I kind of lucked up, man. You know, my uncle had a PS3 and it was the original one that was backwards compatible. So that was pretty dope. I started to get back into PlayStation. And then, of course, like you had that run with Xbox where they started focusing on Connect. And that kind of threw me off.
Towards the end.
I mean, yeah, look, and I ain't gonna lie to you. I was such a fanboy of that. I bought the Connect, and then that's when me and my wife I remember me and my wife first met, man. I was up there trying to do the Connect stuff, man, up there playing all these games, and I just didn't understand it, man. I was just like, And then, like I said, PlayStation took over, man. Once you start seeing God of War in your life and you start seeing these games, man, and of course, the number one thing was this. the Blu-ray player. It sounds crazy, but you know, when you start realizing you got a Blu-ray player and you start seeing some weird things happen with Xbox that, you know, even a fanboy myself, I couldn't defend it. And of course, what happens? You got homeboys that you play with all your life. All of a sudden, nobody wants to play Xbox no more. Everybody's PlayStation. And then I had the unfortunate thing with my 360, which I didn't know this actually existed at the time. So I told you I used to go to pawn shops and buy 360s because they always broke.
Right.
So this pawn shop up the street that I was at the time where I was living at, they had a modded 360 in there.
Okay.
So I didn't know. I swear to you, I did not know. Well, I get home, I'm excited, I'm plugging it in, getting the internet ready, you know, doing all my stuff. I even went out there and got me one of them. You remember the big hard drive you had to put on the side of it?
Mm-hmm.
Like that big hard drive? I bought that thing, man. Next thing you know it, I log in, I'm playing, and you know how it does a little notification about it? Sign me out. No reason. And then I got a notification saying that, you know, Xbox account, blah, blah, blah. I call Xbox. I'll call Microsoft, whatever. They asked me for the serial number of the console. So I give them the serial number. And then the next thing that comes out of their mouth is like, are you aware that this console is banned? I was like, oh. I was like, what you mean banned? I just bought it. They was like, when did you buy it? I had to go through this whole thing of like faxing them an actual receipt or like emailing them somehow. I don't know how I got it to them, but I had to get them a proof that I actually bought it from a pawn shop. They banned my account, which made me mad. So you gotta understand this. Being a fanboy of Xbox.
Yeah, you finally got a gamer score, and you actually got history now, and now you're losing everything.
They banned me. So worst case scenario, man, like I found out what a modded console was, and they lifted the ban after like a damn year, which at that point I was already PlayStation 3 to a little bit at that point, right before those next two consoles dropped. And they lifted it up a little bit, man, and I remember I started messing with them. I hate to say it, but I was messing with the modded games because I realized, oh crap, I ain't got to buy them games no more. Let me go download this game. And man, I tell you right now, I probably played every game possible. But I ain't gonna frown upon that. But then, like I said, the PS3, it just started winning, man. Like it was just, you know, you start seeing these games and stuff, man. I seen the community kind of change on me too. Like I said, my friends, people I knew, even the people that was on my like gamer, like my friends list. Like my friends list, I start seeing them offline for like 3 months. Next thing you know it, I'm getting messages saying, hey man, if you see me over here at PlayStation, man, come on to PlayStation, play with us on there. And of course it was rough for me because that means no more Left 4 Deads, none of those games that were Xbox exclusive at the time. And yeah, man, PlayStation, it got me back into PlayStation. Now luckily I had that first PlayStation that could play backwards compatible games, so I was able to play some of them games. So yeah, man, that generation really got me into the whole aspect of like online play, meeting new people, you know, because like I said, for the most part, you know, you only play with your homeboys, or I actually met some people, you know what I mean, that were on Facebook, and we actually met in real life and became really good friends because of Xbox and because of PlayStation. You know, I never thought in my young days that, hey, one day I may play somebody in Germany, or, you know, I may end up one of my best friends or good friends that I have now. We may not ever see each other in real life, but we played video games for the last 15 years versus each other. So,
or you talk regularly. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, like it's people, man. It's crazy, man. Because like it's people that I Left 4 Dead. It's funny because it was a set of 4 of us, right? That played Left 4 Dead, obviously. You know, 2 of them now they got kids. One of them got grandson now. It's insane. Like think about that. We was all young adults, man, just having fun, not knowing that, you know, 20 years from now, man, everybody gonna have families. And it's funny now because we all watch now, right? Like we ain't up there at 4:00 in the morning. I mean, I try to sometime, but I pay for it the next day. So yeah, man.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, like you'll be just playing like a game of Rocket League with somebody, and then you like the way they play. You invite them to the game, and then you play a couple matches, and you're like, man, I wonder if he has a headset. Just wondering if he has a headset. Invite him to a party, and then all of a sudden, a few months down the road, you congratulating him on his first kid on Facebook on a whole different platform.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. And it's funny, man, because somebody that I game with forever on, you know, like I said, on Xbox especially, you know, that person didn't know who I was until one day he kind of put 2 and 2 together and decided to actually find me on Twitter. and he didn't realize that, like, I had been on ESPN, TV doing sports. He was like, dude, I just know the person that this dude named Chris that we just played games. I didn't know you were doing that, and you covered my favorite team. So yeah, it's dope, man. It's dope how that really changed the gaming community. And like that's good with bad, but to me, I feel like it was more good in that case.
Oh yeah, I mean that's powerful. It's extremely powerful. But let's keep it moving. So you said the PS3 kind of tied up the end of that generation for you, where the Xbox was really strong all the way up until the Kinect, which is like what history says, what a lot of people say. The Kinect, although it was dope in its own aspects, making it a showcase for Xbox was just the wrong idea. It is a real cool side piece, but don't make it the main course, right? Don't make it the steak on the plate. It's tasting like tofu.
It was a bad run. That was a bad move.
Absolutely. All right. So now we're on to, last generation, which was very much strong for PlayStation. Rough. It was nice coming out the gates for Xbox game wise. Rough E3 coming into that console generation. But I mean, as time went on, you almost would think Xbox was going to go out of business the way that they were kind of, running their thing over there. What was it like? Because I'm assuming you probably had an Xbox One at some point.
I was fanboy. Look, man. They tied me back in. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. See, once again, look, all it took was a little sweet nothing in my ear, and of course, all my homeboys. So you remember how both consoles are like simultaneously come out at the same time, right?
Right.
So, I went to GameStop, and I told my wife, I was like, man, I don't know what to do here. She was like, just get the one that it's easier to get, right? And then you'll be able to get the other one eventually. So I remember going to the mall and pre-ordering somehow the Xbox One was available. Boy, was that a bad move because, I won't say it's a bad move because I enjoyed it, but man, like you said, that E3 kind of messed up everything. The DRM situation, the whole internet got to be online the whole time, and man, I was up there fighting everybody, man. It was like, I felt like I was the one-man army out here going for Xbox game, right? And nothing was going right. Like, nothing was going right, man. It was issue after issue, and then check this out. And I swear to you, man, the guy that works at GameStop, me and him are really close. The day I get my Xbox, the night. So you remember the console came out at nighttime. That's another thing we don't even get anymore. We was outside at GameStop, man.
I think it was like on the 13th or something like that.
Yeah, man, we was outside, man. I was. Oh man, you trust me, that was a night. They had the bands out there playing. We had too much fun, right? So everybody, man, when you get home, you better add me. Tell me why when I get home. Everything's working fine. I put a disc in. All I heard was it kept making this loud noise. So I was like, oh man, maybe it's the disc. The disc could have been faulty. Put another disc in. So at that time I had Call of Duty Ghost. Because remember, these games were 360, so the hybrid games. Yeah. Call of Duty Ghost, Madden 25. I had all these games, right? None of them, they will work after I take it out 3 or 4 times. So I was like, man, don't tell me console, bro. So I called my homeboy Brandon was the manager of the store at this particular GameStop. He had a different one right now. Yeah, man, the console was messed up. So, ironically, what saved me was this. And shout out to Brandon for this, man. Somebody didn't pick up their Xbox One. So he said, give me a day or two. We hold it as long as we can, but if he doesn't come and get it. So he called the dude. The dude said, man, I don't have the money to pay out the rest of the thing. You might as well just put my $100 pre-order on credit, and then I'll try to get it down the road. He said, I got an Xbox One right here for you. What I'll do is I'll exchange it. He did me a whole solid on that. And I ended up getting another one. But yeah, I was fighting a losing war because, like I said, PS4 was insane, right? Like it was at a point, the only thing I had in my favor was we had to bet online on Xbox, right? Like I wasn't even talking about games no more. I was like, man, shit, at least my online work, y'all ain't even got party chat yet. Because they did have party chat on PlayStation until it, came along later. Yeah, man, it was rough. It was rough. And like I said, it was it got to the point where I was playing a lot of older games on my console. Like I wasn't even playing some of that new stuff, and then you see the lack of exclusives start happening, right? Like I
Right.
wasn't big in certain games that were exclusive, so I was losing, man. And yeah, I ended up getting that PS4 for one reason because, and this is true, the only reason why I got a PS4 is because of one game, MLB The Show. Because you got to remember, being a sports gamer, we didn't have. I mean, obviously we had the World Series, like the ESPN baseball games, but when they stopped doing it, and you know Sony got the rights to the baseball game, you couldn't play except MLB The Show for the simulation style. So I ended up getting a PS4. I had a PS4 just for MLB The Show. I literally played one game on the PS4 for a while.
Wow.
And then, yeah, and then finally, you know, after a while, of course, things started happening. You know, my friends, then I had a change of heart. Nobody wanted to play Xbox One no more, and yeah, I had to convince my wife on that one because you know that was a hot dime there that I had to spend on that one. And then you know at that point I was just upgrading consoles because then I went through the Xbox One X or the One S, then the One X, then I went through the PS4, then the PS4 Pro. So I was like one of those kind of guys that whatever console come out new, I need to make sure I got it. I want to have the top of the line. So yeah, man, like I said, it was rough, man, on Xbox, and you know, I still hold on to them in the dear heart. I got a Series X, man, but man, I was losing the war. Trust me, man. When I tell you, anybody that knows me, there's probably some tweets y'all can pull up. I was going full-fledged army mode. If you said something about Xbox, man, Xbox ain't paid me a dime ever in my life. You would have thought I was the employee of the year for them. You know, and like I said, it was a rough transition. Then, like I said, you want to talk about ugly consoles? The Xbox One was an ugly Once again, that was the mini VCR or the mini briefcase compared to the big briefcase Xbox. So it was an ugly looking console on top of that. Now it got better with the One S and the One X because I ended up getting like a white console.
That's the One S. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy for me. So yeah, man. Then like I said, I transitioned to PS4. I started playing both of them because you know, like I said, it was just certain games I played on certain ones with my homeboys. But yeah, like I said, it really jumped on PS4 towards the end before this new gen came out.
Okay, well that brings us to the current generation now. So, which one of those consoles back there did you grab first?
Which one came out first? Because
Well, the Xbox came out like just days before the PS5.
Yeah, so I pre-ordered both of them, so I was able to get both of them. I was not gonna fall for that one again. I wasn't gonna do the, get one first and then figure it out for the next one. Thank God I didn't. Thank God I didn't use that lot. I mean, also on my side hobbies, I collect sneakers. I sold so many shoes, man. I was making sure I had these consoles, right? I think my main focus was the PS5, to be honest with you. And the reason why is because, I was really mad. I remember one of my moments I almost cried in my life. I remember I was with my wife, we was out to eat. And, they did the little, I forgot what they were doing. It was either something they were doing where they were announcing the PS5 and all that stuff. And then they say, go pre-order. Well, everybody and their mama must have went to every GameStop. So where I live at, there's literally 4 GameStops within a 15-mile radius. Swear.
Okay.
So I went to every GameStop. Sold out, sold out, sold out, sold out. Pre-order sold out. Pre-order sold out. I'm pissed. But then I already had pre-ordered that Series X. So I'm like, all right, man, whatever. I'll figure it out. Next thing I know it, shout out to Fat Kid Deals on Twitter. Shout out to, I ain't gonna say the guy's name. I know who runs it, but I know he don't want his name out there. But he was like, hey, man, I think there's gonna be a link on Amazon for him. And I was like, man, I ain't never bought no console on Amazon. Somebody gonna jack me, watch. As soon as I get this console, it's gonna be on the delivery route and I never see it. I got lucky. I sat there and I kept hitting refresh. And I was able to pre-order the PS5. And yeah, man, I remember I was such a dope fiend for both consoles, man. I bought every damn accessory just to say, hey, here's the new PS5 controller that's coming out. Couldn't do nothing with it. And then, like I said, I really gravitated towards the PS5 because it was just some games that you saw and stuff. And, Xbox was still trying to get that stuff together. Obviously, Game Pass was a great thing that was coming along at its time. But I think the PS5 really, especially for this generation, even though you see both of them up there, I usually don't have my Xbox up there. I usually have it on the monitor as well. But I probably play my PS5 a little bit more. It's because, I like that DualSense controller. Like I'm a
Looks
huge
nice.
fan of it. And now the fact that we found out today, we got this
The Pro?
Elite controller. Yeah, the Edge, whatever it's called. You know, I'm excited for that, man. And yeah, I gravitated towards the PS5 in this generation a little bit more. Now, look, I'm still an Xbox guy, so let's not get it twisted. Look, man, you may say something crazy about Xbox. I may get mad. I won't get as mad. I may, you know, I'm more reserved now. I'm gonna be like, okay, well, that's cool. I got both of them, so you know, I feel very confident in saying that. You know, it was an unfortunate thing back then that I was like, yeah, this console sucks, and I didn't have it until later. Now I can say, well, I got both of them, so I know what's kind of going on with both of them. But yeah, this PlayStation, man, and the Xbox, they both great consoles. I'm really a big fan of what PlayStation did with the SSD. Even though I think every console should come with way more memory than what it does. I like the fact that I can go buy an SSD and it has the heat sink on it. I can just take it off. I like the customization of the PS5. Obviously with Xbox, you can't do no unless you break it damn near apart. To put a new shell on it, I've never seen one on anybody's. But you know, like I said, I like the customization on the PS5. And yeah, man, I've been playing I think if we gonna get the log hours, probably more PS5 for sure.
Okay, so you're saying it's pretty close though.
It's
talking about
close.
log hours.
It's close because the problem is I run into a situation where it's funny. Like I told you, I got the homies who are diehard Sony fans. Guess what? They love the Xbox now. So I'm like, y'all done got me to join the dark side a little bit. You know, take away my cape for Xbox, take out my green shirt for a minute, and then all of a sudden now I can't get you guys to jump on PlayStation for nothing. So I was like, man, what are we doing?
Like, those are called habitual line steppers.
They line step, man. And I be trying, man. I play a lot of I play a lot of team deathmatch on Vanguard, a lot of team deathmatch.
Oh, so you're ready for this new one. You're ready for 2.
Oh, look, man. I made it clear. There will not be a single baseball game I gotta go to that day. There will not be a single NBA game because I know the season be sort of coming to that fruition at that point, maybe preseason. I will not be busy that day. So if anybody's I'm letting people know on the pod. I know a few of y'all that are watching now. Do not call me. You can hit me up in the party chat. Do not call me that day. Don't call me that day. Modern Warfare 2 comes out. I am busy. So yeah.
The phone is on do not disturb.
Yeah, I'm gonna have it on both consoles, even though it is gonna be cross-platform. I get all my games on both. So that's another thing I do. I buy both games on both. Like any game that comes out that's on both, I buy it on both, just to have it on both because I want to play it on both. Like you know, with the sports games like Madden, you know, NBA 2K, you know, MLB The Show. You know, obviously those companies.
So you'll even buy Call of Duty on both, even though it's a cross-platform game and you can play it either way.
I buy it on both because, you know, unfortunately, some of my friends don't like the fact that, you know, if we play on cross-platform, we got to jump into somebody's game chat. They love the party chat thing, and I got to pick my poison now. With Discord now, you may not have to worry about that as much anymore. So, yeah, like I said, yeah, so, you know, I think it's just one of them things where I just buy it on both consoles because I'm never going to sell the game. I buy everything. It's crazy enough. I've been putting out all these retro games, and I buy everything digital now. I can't think of the last time I bought it. You know what? I don't know. I can't remember the last time I actually bought a disc game. Everything's been digital. So,
well, see, yeah. See, because I do the same thing. I have all these consoles that require physical games. It's like almost a breath of fresh air when I don't have to buy something physical because I mean I get up and down for these guys. I need to play a different game. Let me yank this out, walk across the room, surf through these games, and there's the one I found. I just made another mess. You know, I mean, it just keeps you from making a mess of all of your stuff. So I mean, I go digital if I can for these new consoles. The only time I ever go physical for my PlayStation or my Xbox is if the deal just can't be beat. Like I got Ghost Recon Breakpoint for $9 because it was on disc. Ooh. I got Fractured But Whole for South Park for $9 because it was on sale somewhere. But like I go into the stores of these places and some of these games are still selling for $25 to $60.
Yeah, you know what? I take that back. The last game I bought on disc, God, man, I can't believe I'm having a brain fart. What's my game with my guy? The Arcane Studio game. The one where you can Deathloop. I never beat the. By the way, long story why I never beat that game. Boy, I tell you what, I wasn't aware of the online thing, and it pissed me off until I didn't want to play it no more. Yeah, because every time I jumped in, it seemed like I thought I'd turn it off, and it would come back on, and
Oh,
here's
somebody would jump in
somebody.
your game?
Yeah, somebody would kill me instantly because it scared the hell out of me because I didn't realize they're right there. So yeah, Deathloop. That was probably the last game that I actually bought. I bought a disc version on PS5 just to say, hey, I got a disc game. But I'm gonna do like you said. When it goes down, these games go down to $9.99. I'll go buy them just to have them stacked up somewhere and say, hey, because you never know, man. One day we may wake up and none of these digital games work. And that scares me too. But I don't really have that fear as much. But yeah, at least I got a disc version.
Yeah, I know on a lot of these games too, like Halo Infinite, for instance, you can unplug your internet, put the game in, and it'll work. If you don't have the internet connection to say, hey, I need to update or something like that, it'll just play like the regular game. Now there is some DRM on certain games, but but for the most part, if you have the disc for a game, as long as you unplug it from the internet, you can still usually play that.
Yeah, it's weird for me because I'm more of an online game, but obviously playing these sports games and shooters. I love online games. It's hard for me. Like, it sounds crazy, man. Like, I actually sat there as a noble person and played Uncharted, like that remake. Like, I didn't get put in a situation where my friends, hey man, jump on Call of Duty, because they was tempting me. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I made it clear. I even streamed it a little bit, right? So I was like, man, please do not invite me to none of these games. I'm trying to beat this game. Because that's another thing. The gift and curse of online is one thing. Sometimes I turn myself offline, but sometimes I'm online. You get the homies that are sending you the text like, hey man, let's jump on this duty. Let's jump on Halo Infinite. Let's jump on this. Let's jump on that. And I'm like, damn, I can't finish the game to save my life because everybody plays online. And look, I'm a sucker for online gaming. So yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I feel you there. I 100%, because I have like my buddy Matt Likes Games. He's in the chat right now. And matter of fact, shout out to the chat real quick. You guys are doing fantastic in there. I love the conversation you guys are bringing. Too Big, welcome to the show. Matt Likes Games, welcome to the chat. Yeah, but as I was saying, with him, I play 2K like almost religiously, like every night. Like we play a couple of games of that before we play what we call like our like last like down time game before we turn off the console and go to bed. Last night mine was Forza Horizon. That game's fantastic. The Hot Wheels, fantastic.
Oh, I need to play that, by the way. The Hot Wheels. I love Forza Horizon. Like, man, when it first came out, man, it's a beautiful game. I enjoy the game, and like I said, I just got to get my friends to actually jump in and play the game with me more, man. It's hard to, you know how it is, man. Like sometimes you can go into the thing and try to get people to play, but that Forza Horizon, I think it's a beautiful game, man.
Oh yeah, that game is magnificent. It looks fantastic. It drives fantastic. The just recklessness that you can do in that game is just fun. It's like for me, like half the time I turn on that game, I don't even do races. I'm just driving around, checking stuff out, drifting, running the ramps. I'm just bullshitting.
Man, I'm all about taking screenshots. One thing about me, people know, like Bleacher Report, different companies, they get me to do screenshots for them for these games, and I enjoy sitting there doing screenshots of games, how they look from a scenic view. And yeah, man, when Forza Horizon dropped, man, it was insane how beautiful that game looked. And then still, obviously, it's beautiful now, but yeah, man, when you got a 4K monitor or whatever, you get to see the full capabilities of it, man. It looks beautiful. It's a beautiful game.
All right, so before we hop into the next subject, I just want you to answer a question for me. Why is gaming so important to you then? With everything that you just had, you talked about your history throughout all of these different generations and, online, how that's really important. But like, if you were to sum up all of that stuff, why is gaming important to SeeHendo?
Man, honestly, gaming kept me out of trouble. I mean, I was never perfect as even a young adult. I had my situations that happened, but for the most part, man, it kept me out of trouble, man. And I think honestly, it made me and my friends closer. I mean, we all play sports and enjoy sports, but that competitive nature that we was able to bring in gaming, meeting new people, realizing that it's not, you don't have to be a nerd. We was called nerds for being gamers, right? You know what I'm talking
Right.
about, man. Like he
Absolutely.
was a gamer. Like it's funny, man. Playing these games now, like people who play Zelda. If you played Zelda back in the day, he was called a nerd. Now
You didn't talk
it's
about
again,
it.
yeah, you didn't talk about it. You had to hide, man. And I think it made a space for me, man. And like I said, being able to transition gaming over to my career, which is in sports media, and realizing that athletes are human beings and we talk gaming and they're just like us. They miss out on consoles and pre-orders like us. And like I said, just gaming has really blessed me with just different aspects, like being able to communicate with people in different like parts of the world. There's people that, like I said, I've never met, and we know each other's whole life, especially the last 15 years or so. So yeah, gaming has definitely been a blessing for all of us, man. Like without gaming, I wouldn't be here today with you. Think about it, man.
Facts.
The things that we know, the things that we talk about, and gaming. Especially during COVID. The one thing that we had when COVID was at its peak, we couldn't go outside. I can't imagine not being able to do nothing but sit in the house all day. But gaming changed that. And not only did gaming change that, we got online. So yeah, man, gaming is a blessing for all of us, man. And I'm glad to see where, in most cases, there are some bad things in gaming, but I feel like, for the most part, people have made careers out of it. When even my grandparents, I tell you, they were gracious about me playing games. They enjoyed the fact I was in the house not getting in trouble. But if I would have told them as a kid, hey man, one of these days I can make a lot of money playing video games, they would have laughed at me. But we're here now where you got people that are millionaires, people making livelihoods off of gaming. Something that they told you need to get out the game and get back to your books. Well, now the tables are turned, and I'm happy to see young kids, even people that look like me, being able to jump into these games. People my race, even people outside my race that they want to be accepted to this gaming community, and there's opportunity for it. So definitely dope.
Absolutely. Fantastic. That was a really good way to sum that up. But now we must move to the next topic, which is about content creation. You were actually talking about that just a moment ago, about your grandparents, and like if you would have told them when you were younger that you would have been getting into this kind of stuff. I want you to tell me specifically what drew you to content creating, whether it was gaming at first or something else. Go on ahead.
Yeah, man. It was weird because like I didn't know, like when Twitch started coming around and stuff, like you had to connect, and I didn't have the PC to where I could do the stream labs and all that stuff. And I thought it would be cool for people to see me game, right? So I never thought about putting the two worlds together, the gaming and sports, right? But one day, funny story is the Phoenix Suns are in town, right? So Steve Nash is the MVP of the league, right? And I'm nervous as hell in that locker room. And he comes up and says, you want to talk to somebody? You want to talk to me or somebody like that? We just see you standing there. I'm like, yeah, man, I'd love to talk to you. And of course, I go into this whole little tirade about,
Steve Nash.
asking, yeah, the MVP of the league, Steve Nash, yeah. And
Wow.
and I started going on a tirade about sports stuff. In the middle of the interview, I had my sound recorder. I didn't even have my phone. I used a sound recorder. He says, wait a minute, you look uncomfortable doing this. And I was just like, wow. He's like, what I need you to do is this. I need you to think about stuff that you like and ask me questions about that. I promise you, I may like the same thing. And I was
Dang.
like,
Who put you in the place?
I like that. I said, what do you mean? I love gaming too. So yeah, man, it was crazy, man. And I remember asking him his favorite video game consoles of all time. And he was like, man, I played Nintendo 64. I still got the audio interview today. And it was dope, man. So, when I was able to merge those two together, then it became a point, well, I need to start doing video. Because it's one thing to have a voice, but people
Right.
need to know that I'm actually talking to this person. So, I focused more about lifestyle, which, had one of my good friends, Tawan, that, he was in my ear, man, you really are good at this to get players to open up. I mean, like I said, If you've been through my YouTube channel, I did a big video with Kevin Durant. Me and Kevin Durant are talking about Grand Theft Auto. We're talking about all kind of games. You don't get that kind of stuff every day from Kevin Durant. People don't know Kevin Durant's one of the biggest gamers I know. Like, he's a huge gamer. He's a PC, Xbox only guy. But that dude will play the hell out of. Yeah, he's a serious gamer. And being able to go into the locker room and the things that we love, go in there and talk to these players about it, and then all of a sudden you realize, well, damn, they love games too. And I think that putting those two together, and then finding a way to do it in such a quick time, because I needed it was like I can't do 10-minute interviews. It goes by really slow. And I said, what if I did it in 5 minutes? What do you think about, if you was an MLB player? I say, so what do you think about being on a video game? They start smiling. Go look at every video. Oh man, growing up as a kid playing Slugfest, I had to create myself. Now I'm actually being scanned on a video game. Something like that. So yeah, man, for me, it was just about merging those two together, which led into he's actually good at this. And it's an anomaly because you don't have too many people out there that are actually doing that with these type of athletes. Then it was like, at this point, my friends, especially like I said, Twan is my guy. He kind of helps me do all this stuff. He said, you need to start streaming these games, because it's one thing to talk about these games and your stuff, but you need to start showing people that you actually play these games. So, every once in a while I would jump in the stream. I've been so busy lately, but then I started streaming more, and I actually enjoy streaming. I don't care if it's one person watching or nobody watching. I like posting my game clips, especially on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. And, I met a lot of cool people. Like I said, shout out to Stank, shout out to you, just in that sort of world, because, they see me streaming. And it's fun because for me, people in the gaming world, they don't know what I do. But then when they go do the research, they're like, oh, wait a minute.
That was me.
This dude tossed this dude, it becomes, it's funny because every time it never fails. It was a guy one day, man, he's sitting there, we're in a party chat. I invited him in, we were playing Rainbow Six Siege, right? So he jumps in. He had been playing a couple of games, but he was dominating. Man, we gotta add this dude to the party. So I add him to the party, and we talking sports. So he's talking about LeBron, all these guys, how he's a huge fan. And then, long story short, he was like, man, I'm gonna add you on, on here. So on my profile, it says, hey, follow me on blah, 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 go to my YouTube channel. So I'm thinking he probably did this. Well, the next day I get a message saying, bro, there is no way you have met and talked to LeBron James. I said, what do I got to do to prove it to you? He said, here's my Twitter. I sent him a tweet of me and LeBron James in pictures together, doing interviews. He was like, whoa. He said, you really actually do this. He said, this is so weird. This is cool. And, it's funny, man. And I enjoy that because I want people to know me mainly to be a gamer. I hate really being called, I know I'm a sports media guy. I'm in the media. But for the most part, I just kind of like the idea that people do know me as a gamer. And then that caveat is, well, by the way, his real job, he actually talks to these dudes full time. And they game with him. And it's pretty dope, man. I could be in a room, especially on Xbox, Steph Curry, huge Xbox guy.
Steph Curry?
I've had friends, Steph Curry. We have been in games together. There's tweets, there's everything there. And, Hall will tell you, certain people tell you that have been in parties with me. These dudes are jumping to the party with me.
You talking about Hall in the chat?
Yeah, shout out to Hall, man. He's in there right now. He'll tell you, man, these dudes are jumping to the chat, the party chat. And all of a sudden, everybody go ghost and get quiet on us because they be like, oh, shit, it's really him. And I'm like, yeah, man, they game too. So, I think that made a good connection between me and the athletes as well, and entertainers. I talk to rappers, I talk to singers, actors. I talk to everybody. Look, man, if you got any kind of presence in any field of your life, and you're a celebrity, I'm going to talk to you about gaming in some sort of way, whether you play it or not. I just throw it out there, and it usually, I would say a lot of times it's very successful. So, yeah, man, like I said, gaming has done a lot for me, and, man, that content part, it's so much out here, man. I tell people all the time that's in this world, like what you do, interviewing people in the gaming community, even outside of trying to merge those two together. it's a lot out here for us to do. It ain't always just about, hey, I need to stream the new game or unbox this before everybody do. Talking about gaming, giving people knowledge about games, doing a history deep dive, man. Like, I'm looking behind you, man. I'm seeing the Wheaties poster, man. I'm seeing the NWO.
That Michael Jordan Wheaties.
Yeah, yes. Rest in peace to Scott Hall, aka Razor Ramon, man. I'm seeing that back there, man. That I see the Huskies logo up there by that thing right there. I see all the.
Whoa, that's Huskers, bro. Huskers.
I know Huskers. The corner. Hey man, shout out to Tommy Frazier, man. Shout out to Tommy Frazier, the great Tommy Frazier, man. So, like I said, man, like I said, and like I said, you in that same space, you love sports, but you also love gaming. And I always felt like the two are really the same because you're doing it from a competitive standpoint. I think that me being able to get, guys like Kevin Durant, I've interviewed the best of the best, man, and they all join in my platform, man. And I'm able to like merge those worlds together. It's a dope feeling, man, that my content not only has reached a certain level, but next thing I know it, I'm on ESPN. And that changes everything, right? Like, it never fails. The stuff that I never look at. Like, there's a video I may do one day, and it's like, we'll see. That's the video that usually goes crazy. Like, I never thought when I did that StreamYard interview with Kevin Durant. One day I had another person that I was supposed to interview. That person got sick. And out of the blue, me and Kevin Durant follow each other on social media, and I hit him up. I was like, Katie, can you do a video with me? Please, one day. He was like, you free right now? I was like, and I had no video. I had no video recording software. So I didn't know how to do this. So, of course, Google Hangouts was my first thing I thought of. Like, hey, maybe it'll show him and show me. It was down. KD said he had 2 hours of time for me. I went on Twitter and typed in, anybody know any video software where I can talk to this person? He talked to me. Some guy from Streamlabs reached out to me. He was like, hey, I got this software. It's in beta. You can use it. And I did it, and I did the interview, and I remember a lot of people in that chat. It was a lot. Even the people that didn't believe that he was going to be in there. Because if you actually go and play the real video and do the live chat where it shows the chat as it's going, people's like, oh, he lied. He ain't got Kevin Durant. And then all of a sudden, 2 minutes later, here come Kevin Durant. And everything changed. I mean, I had Kevin Durant talked about, Rockstar owes me a check. We talked about GTA. We talked about all these games. And people started hitting me up. So I went to bed on a high note, woke up the next morning, and somebody told me, you was on ESPN last night? I was like, what do you mean I was on ESPN? And they was like, go look at ESPN. So I go on my Twitter. Everybody's tagging me in the video. Me and Kevin Durant. I was on ESPN The Jump. I was on all these shows. I got Rachel Nichols. I got Scott Van Pelt. Everybody saying, this dude named SeeHendo. And it's funny because, like, they called me a YouTuber. They didn't even know I covered the actual NBA. They just knew me as a YouTuber, which was kind of dope because kind of wanted to be that way anyway. So, yeah, man, that content creation, it can take you so far. And I tell people all the time, get what you can. You never say no to any opportunity, man, because you never know what it's going to lead to and who's watching you. Because that Kevin Durant interview changed. I won't say it changed because I was already interviewing. I had interviewed KD at least 4 or 5 times before that. But I'd never done like what we doing. I've never done
like a live show.
Yeah, with anybody. So next thing you know, it comes from KD to all these other NBA players. And next thing you know, if you ever seen the movie Above the Rim? So Above the Rim had this guy named Leon in it. He played David Ruffin on The Temptations. Guess what? I did a live interview with him. I was just messing around one day. It's like, man, I wonder, can I get him? And I got him to do a video with me. So, yeah, man, content creation, man. Just be consistent. Like what you're doing is a dope thing for the community. Yeah, I enjoy it. Like I said, you had gained a fan with me because, like I said, you went to people that may not have the biggest names or the biggest voice, and you give them a spotlight. And like I said, I like the fact that you want to know the history of people instead of, hey, man, criticizing people saying, hey, you should play this or you should play that. You just want to know what we do or what we like, and you never know. Maybe the same interest.
Or why? Like maybe you can tell me something I'm missing. Like maybe like especially like for like some of the previous consoles that I skipped over because I was big into Xbox as well. I didn't touch PlayStation. As soon as I got a PlayStation 2, absolutely loved it. Played Grand Theft Auto, 3, Vice City, San Andreas. But then like somewhere down the line, I went over to a buddy's house. He turned on his Xbox, turned on Conflict Desert Storm, and then had Tupac Better Days playing as we were playing the game. And I was like, what stereo system is coming out of me? He's like, it's coming out of the console. And I was like, crazy. Bro, no way. So ever since then, I've been Xbox guy.
Yeah. When they was doing that, man, because I never knew, like, when that happened, man, we was able to put our own music, man, because, like, when they had the ESPN baseball, you could do your walk-up music, man. I was going crazy on there. I was saving all kind of music. I was coming up to all kind of music, man. I just thought that was crazy. I could play a game and actually listen to music at the same time. And then, like I said, the one thing I know was people don't really care for it, but I ain't gonna lie, man. When they did that whole thing with the Xbox One where you could watch your cable and play the game at the same time, I know that's I know people trying to say that's sort of weak or overrated, but to me, as a person who covers sports, the fact that I could have been able to watch a game and play the game at the same time, top tier work.
Absolutely. I was watching YouTube videos through that. I'd plug in my laptop to the HDMI out and be watching movies off of my laptop on the Snap side and playing like Rise Son of Rome on the other side, or like watching The Office or something. I just had something going on in the background, and it was fantastic. I was disappointed. No, I'm not even gonna lie. I was disappointed when I found out that the Series X did not have an HDMI out on it, or an HDMI in. It had the out, but I was hoping that it had the in. And they said, "Oh, we're going completely away from it." And I was like, "Well, I get it, but at the same time, that was still a dope feature. Like the Snap, when they discontinued Snap, I was sad, bro."
The Snap thing was cool, and the fact that the one thing about the Kinect, I will give credit for, you can call that command, and then it was there. And I thought, that was true next gen to us, right? Like you get the homeboy come over that may not have ever seen that, and I'm talking to my Xbox. And he's going like, "Oh man, that's crazy." So yeah, man, that was crazy.
Yep, you say Xbox on, it turned on your TV, your stereo, just your house lit up when you said Xbox One on. So that was fire at that time. But yeah, man, I mean, you just got done talking about it, how you talked to the likes of like Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, Kevin Durant, Robbie Ray. Darren Oliver. I mean, I'm assuming you talk to plenty of like NFL guys as well and stuff like that. Actors, singers, rappers, whatever. Did you initially like how did you formulate that plan? I understand Steve Nash helped you figure out like your specific direction in it, right? But how did you start off? Like, because I mean, I need you to rewind a little bit further from you were outside the locker room. Like, how the hell did you even get access to that area?
So, the sports thing has always been like sort of what I've been known for. Anybody that grew up with me, if you didn't know I was a gamer, you knew I love sports, and I could talk sports 24/7. What ended up happening was, man, I joined this podcast with this guy Byron, and it was called Most. It's still running. Most Sports Side. We still run it. We taking a break, trying to get stuff together, but we would cover sports. Now the thing was, we wasn't going to games. We were just talking about it on the podcast or radio show. We was actually a real radio show out here in Dallas, like legit radio. And long story short, I just one day thought in my mind, I'm like, man, we talk about this stuff, but we ain't there. It's different when you're there, right? Everybody can talk sports, but to be in the building, that changed everything. So, I thought in my mind, how can I cover the Dallas Mavericks? How can I cover, the Texas Rangers, the Cowboys, these things, or cover a boxing match? And the Mavericks came first in mind, and I reached out to the PR, and she was just like, blah, blah, blah. So I went to at the time, which was the G League, the D League, right? The D League before it became the G League. We were covering the Texas Legends. And somehow, some way, I ran into the GM of the Mavericks at the time, Donnie Nelson. And, he was asking me, was everything okay? And I was like, yeah, man, enjoying it. Just happy to be covering the game. Didn't know what an interview was, just happy to be there. And he says, do you cover the Mavericks? And I said, I have never covered the Mavericks in my life. He hands me a card and says, call me Monday morning. And I tell y'all, at 8 a.m. in the morning, I called him. I'll never forget it. All he says is, I'm going to text you the email of the person you need to get in touch with to cover a game. And I'll let her know. But you need to send that email now before I forget. I was already on my laptop. That thing was running slow. And I sent the email, and, shout out to Sarah Melton. She's married now. I can never pronounce her last name. It's a long last name. But, Sarah, she gave me the opportunity. It was my first big break, And, that's how I got into the arena. I covered one game, which happened to be the Phoenix game with Steve Nash. And, like I said, I'll open up. Because then, when you go into these locker rooms, they playing video games. So I'm looking like, man, how do I get these dudes?
I didn't even think of that.
My thing is this. How do you get these dudes to talk to you? How do you get these dudes to talk to you? You're a media guy. Sports and media, them two don't get along with each other, right? So I'm thinking, how can I get these dudes to talk to me? And I said, well, damn, I like video games too. So, I would talk sneakers because I love sneakers and, shoes and stuff like that. I love music. But then I was like, man, I got to start talking video games. So what I would do is this. Instead of going deep into video games like I do more now, I would talk about the sport that they play. Like, hey, man, you're an NBA player. What do you think about seeing yourself on NBA 2K? What do you think about your overall rating? And then I let them open up and say, hey, man, I don't really play 2K, but I do play a lot of Call of Duty. Or, hey, man, I may not. It's weird. These athletes are so backwards. The sport they play, they do not play the video game. They play the total opposite. Like, there's baseball players.
They're done with it when they go home. They're like, I don't want to see a basketball right now.
Well, they usually have the one gripe of they're not being good enough on the game. And so they end up playing like baseball players play NBA, NBA players play NFL, NFL players play baseball. It's the weirdest thing ever. So, I put the two together, but getting in that locker room was the start of it. And to me, once I was able to get in there, you formulate how to do it. It was first not doing video, and then I realized people don't want to listen. They need to see a visual behind it. And, I was trying to get some, you get Steve Nash. We talking about 2-time MVP, right? And then, of course, me being in Dallas, I had the luxury of covering Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk is the nicest superstar or all-star caliber player that you could ever talk to. So then I said, you know what? Let me see if I can start talking to these other NBA dudes. And then, of course, you see LeBron James. Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, interview Kobe. Asking Kobe about having his own video game, Kobe Courtside. And him turning, instead of being a Black Mamba and having that, because when you ever seen Kobe is God rest his soul, one of the nicest guys that you could ever meet. But Kobe had this sort of depth stare. When he's in game mode, it was a different mode. But I remember, man,
like a commander kind of face.
Yeah, I remember sitting there, man, in the locker room one time, and he came up to me and said, "Nice shoes." I had his shoes on. And I said, "Man, I want to talk to you about video games." He said, "Video games? What you want to talk about, man? Tell me." I was like, "Man," and I pulled out Kobe Courtside out of my pocket. He was like,
"Oh, wow."
He was like, "Oh," and I swear to you, I couldn't do it because we not allowed to. I should have got him to autograph it. And he went on for about 5 minutes about that game, having his own video game. And he said he didn't realize, how big that would be for him. Like, it's just another thing, another opportunity endorsement, but not knowing that, hey, that game is sort of resonated in history with us, especially for the N64. So, yeah, man, it just, that once again, that content creation, getting into that room, all it took for me to just get in that room, and that's for anybody. It'll be for you being able to go to those, like the games cons and different things, but getting into, just give me the opportunity to walk in the building. I'll figure out the rest. And that was my goal, which ended up transitioning NBA into like, hey, I'm finna start covering this baseball. because nobody talks about baseball in that aspect, and then covering boxing. Imagine talking to Bernard Hopkins about video. I've done it, and everybody's ready for this, esports boxing game. So all these new fighters that are fighting now, I've interviewed a few of them. We talked about esports boxing. NFL players, probably some of the most competitive gamers, having fun with them talking about it. So yeah, man, I made sure I got in the building, and now I'm blessed enough to say that, unless case it's some extreme, I can jump on, I can get in any sort of like space and be like, hey, I'm welcome there. I don't get denied as much for credentials. Shout out to the Mavericks, Scott and them, and shout out to the Rangers, what they do for me, especially locally. I'm able to go to every single game possible and cover them. So, yeah, I bring a different element. And I think the PR people like it because players talk. And like I said, they probably tell them, like, man, I like that dude, man, because he don't come here talking about me going 0 for 25 last night or me having a bad game. He's actually coming here. I've had players that have literally told me, man, I didn't want to talk to nobody, but then you come here talking about video games, you made my day.
Right.
So, it's just
because that's something that people do for fun. That's a positive subject to bring up, and something like that's more hot than it's ever been. Video games are so
exactly.
So bringing that energy, coming in and not focusing on whether they had a good game, a bad game, or stats and all this other stuff. Sure, you can ask those questions, but they've heard those questions from a million other people. So what are you going to do to stand out on your own? You talk about video games, now you got like them, they ain't even thinking about their career anymore.
They're not. They get shocked because not only do I talk video, because look, you can pay somebody to walk in and ask the generic video game question. But when you go in and like a guy like me, even yourself or somebody that has that knowledge, and I say, hey man, have you ever checked out that new Death Stranding? Or did you play did you play the new Halo, man? What you think about the Halo multiplayer? What do you think about that Forza Horizon? Or no, did you play We Happy Few? Or did you go play this, and the third, right? And it's like, oh, wait a minute. This dude know his gaming for real. He ain't some sort of prop toy for a website that just happened to ask generic question. He loves gaming. And like I said, them dudes love gaming too. So it's a deadly combination. And it works out in my favor 100% of the time.
Well, shoot. I mean, that's fantastic, man. You have a hell of a story on how you got to where you are. Congratulations to you, first and foremost. Keep pushing. I can't wait to see some more of the people that you come to talk to down the line.
Oh man, really, it's gonna be crazy. Oh man, it's gonna be crazy. NBA season coming around, man. We cooking up stuff, man. Especially now that this year we got a lot of good games coming out. So, obviously, man, we're gonna be talking Call of Duty. I mean, we got that Gotham Knights, man. It's man. We got a lot of stuff coming out. Man, keep going, man. Like we got games coming for both consoles. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a lot of content, and like I said, getting these guys to talk about it is gonna be even better because they waiting just like us to play these games. So we're gonna see.
All right. Well, now I want to talk a little bit about like your, things that you've been thinking about as of lately with video games and whatnot. Now that we've did all the history and background of you and your content creation, your video games of choice back in the day, I want to know some things like a little bit personal about you, like in the sense of like what you like, what you don't like. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is like, what is a genre in video games that like you're not really going to see Hendo playing?
Yeah, man. Like I told you, I gotta start opening up a little bit more because I'm kind of stuck in that sports shooter world. Sometimes I jump out of it, but I don't know if there's a way you're gonna ever see me play games. Like the World of Warcrafts or the Worlds. I don't have nothing to get. I think it's just me trying to learn how to play them, and I think I will like them if I play them. But those type of games, surprisingly enough, I own probably last couple of versions of these games, but what's the game I'm having a brain for? My guy Dante, what's his name? Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry, yeah.
I got friends that are loyal to Devil May Cry. They will tell you this. I got the disc. I got all the games sitting here. I have never played them. I just can't. I don't know what it is. Like I have to. One day I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna dedicate myself to doing it. So it's random games, but I honestly think it's just because when you're comfortable in your own sort of like element, it's hard to break the habit. Like I said, here comes Madden. I'm supposed to be playing these other 2 games, and I never play them. So I'm getting better at it. Trust me. There's some games that I played that I never thought I would have played. Like I said, it's I actually played Psychonauts. I didn't even play it on the original one. I played Psychonauts, right? I enjoyed that game. My issue is also playing some of these games, you got to beat the game. And where I fall into that spot is this. Well, there's a point in time where, like, this week I got a good week where I'm kind of off until Friday, per se. But, boy, I go 2 straight weeks of covering games. So you almost lose track of what to play. And then typically when you come home, you probably just want to play a multiplayer game or 2 and go to bed. So trying to play that single player game.
So you be grazing.
Man, I'd be great. Like, look, now there are certain games I make sure, like, any Batman Arkham City type game come out, Spider-Man comes out, of course I hate to say this, but that Marvel Avengers game, when I beat that game, whatever you're supposed to do that game, I did it, whatever. Yeah, not proud of saying that right now, but when these games like that, I do beat them. But for the most part, yeah, I think you would never see me on World of Warcraft. Nothing against it. If somebody plays it, if you want to sit down with me and teach me some of the ropes, I may enjoy it. But other than that, you'll never see me playing it.
I feel like you just answered my next question, but I'm going to ask you it anyways, just so I can make sure I get the correct answer.
Go ahead.
What game did you think was going to be an absolute, like, groundbreaking, just banger, and it ended up being a dud?
So there's a couple of games that come to mind, and I know people got mixed feelings on this game, but I actually like the game, but I don't want to call it a dud, but boy, that was the game that could help me go to bed at night. LA Noire.
Wow. I didn't see that
Because
coming.
Don't get me wrong, if you have beat that game, the storyline is crazy, especially how it ended with all that stuff he went through and with his marriage and all. It's a crazy game, but man, like when I first heard the game was coming out, man, I was like, oh man, we got a GTA Pro, like some sort of like GTA hybrid with Saints Row. Like you got that kind of game. Because I'm also a big GTA guy. So yeah, man, I thought it was gonna be the next thing. And yeah, man, a lot of people hate that game. I get a few people that are like cult lovers of the game that like that sort of crime thriller, trying to figure out stuff. But for the most part, yeah, that's definitely one game. God, I can't think of the game. But there's been a couple of shooters that have dropped that I was like, I'll tell you one, especially with Call of Duty. Call of Duty Ghost is the worst Call of Duty I've ever played. I don't care what nobody says. First off, I got tricked because I went, like I told you, when the Xbox One came out, it was Madden 25, and it was that game. So, yeah, man. Call of Duty Ghost was never fun. I think it had Snoop on there, and I was like, oh yeah, this is whatever. I hate that game. I never enjoyed that game. That's probably the one Call of Duty I hate, and I know some people actually like that one. Yeah, and it almost got me out the Call of Duty bandwagon. And I'm gonna say more recent, man. I hate to say this because I try to play this game every so often, but Battlefield 2042.
Ooh,
I love the game.
That's a sore one for a lot of people.
I love the game. Don't get me wrong. I love the concept, but man, if you would have saw my timeline before that game came out, when I told you the whole, like, I let people know in advance not to call me. I told them not to call me for that game for about a couple of days. And yeah, man, it didn't age well. I know they did some updates. It's got a little bit better, but man, that game for more recent reasons, it's very disappointing because as much as I love Call of Duty, I wanted that Battlefield to be great because, coming from like one of my favorite shooters, obviously was Battlefield 3. Metro, being in the Metro map, man, you already know, doing like that kind of stuff. That game was gold for me, right? Yeah, very disappointed, like I said. And yeah, man, that game, because as a person who plays shooters, I thought it would be the thing that can make Call of Duty get off their tails and say, hey, we need a better product. Was I wrong? Was I wrong? Yes, I was hella wrong. And yeah, we still trying to find out the recipe for anything. So yeah, very disappointed.
Well, yeah, and it's sad to see, the way EA has kind of been handling that, because I mean, they're already talking about, working on the next one, and it's like, damn, this one just came out. Can we get some more support? And you already know how EA is with supporting certain games. They're always ready to move on to the next thing before even making sure that what they just brought to you was treated right.
Exactly. Like I said, being a part of EA Creator Network as well, I was sort of in the idea that, man, this may be the one time I may be right about EA, and I haven't lived that one down yet. And I just wish that I would get more friends to play it with me, because like it's hard trying to find people to play that game, like outside of random. So, I mean, I think it's a pretty cool game. I know it needs some work, but for it to be a next gen game, like when you start seeing that tornado and all that stuff, you get excited. But damn, the game is so bad. Not bad into the point where it's unplayable, but it's not where we thought it was going to be at. So I would say definitely that, man. But yeah, it's a couple other games that's going to come in my head later. But yeah, for those type of games, because I thought they were going to be, I won't say better, but like the reception of them after the fact was like, it's almost going to be like that apparently with this new Saints Row, which, yeah, I'm very hyped about Saints Row. I bought it. I ain't touched it yet. But, man, I hate the fact that I got on Twitter and it's not getting good reviews. So I think I'm going to add that. Yeah, and I'm going to be adding that one to the list, it look like. So we'll see.
Well, see, from what I'm hearing, and I even heard this from Strict as well, like the game plays fun and like has some things that will make you want to continue to play it.
Yeah.
But what I've been hearing from a lot of the people is that unfortunately that game has a lot of performance issues.
Yeah, you got to be at 1440 or something like that. Yeah, it's probably got frame rate issues. So yeah, it's disappointing, man. That's the one thing I do hate, that we get hyped for these games, man, and especially now with social media, because like back then you didn't really have the access to hear people's opinions before a game dropped without, maybe cutting on ETV or something like that, or some random, right, magazine that you read. But now, you get on Twitter, right, when they was doing this launch or pre-launch, when they did the whole conference for it, people were excited, and then you get let down. So yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it just reminds, every time I see a game come out and it's like a buggy mess like that, it just gives me that Gordon Ramsay face of like, it's raw. Like,
Yeah.
get this shit back in the oven.
Yeah, it's bad. It's definitely bad, man. I would say that Marvel Avengers game is right there with that too, because the fact that we all figured, man, we finna get all our superheroes in one game. Like, as a multiplayer person, the idea that one of my friends could be Hulk, I could be Iron Man, we got Cap, you got all these people. I was so hyped. Right? Oh, easy dub. Because I'm thinking like, man, if it's anything like Arkham City, we may be in good shape. Like, hey, man, like, that sort of open world superhero kind of vibe. Boy, was I wrong?
Absolutely. All right. So I got just a few more questions before we get up out of here. I like to keep these around 2 hours, and we're just hitting that mark here in just a few minutes. I also wanted to ask you like something on a positive note. So like, what are the last 3 games that you would consider like great? Like, I want you to give me 2 runner-ups and then give me the game of the year for you. And this is just within the last 365.
Okay. All right, so I would say more recent, that Uncharted remake. Because as a person that, like I said, just never had the time. I bought these games and never played them because I just could never have time to do it. Playing that Uncharted game, I mean, I I posted screenshots. If you go back and look during that week when it dropped, I posted just about 30 screenshots a day of that game. It just looked beautiful. I love that game. That was a more recent one that I actually finished. I would say, man, game of the year, man. I don't know right now because I'm waiting, and I know there's games that came out, but I'm waiting. Like I said, that Callisto Protocol. I had somebody hit me up about that, and I'm gonna trust y'all on this.
I don't want you to get ahead of yourself. Just think of the last 365 days. You got
65.
one game there.
365.
Yeah.
365. I'm looking back just to see what I got. Damn, it's gonna be tough, man. Because every game I play is a sports game. I'm really into sports. I know I'm gonna miss something I played it. Man, I gotta think about that. In the last 365, I'm gonna think about that. Oh, let's pull up something real quick because I know it's always heavy sports for me, but I know there's some games that I played that I was like, all right, this ain't bad. So this is second. Man, I'm about to come back to that. I don't know about it. Because see, the problem is I'm so heavy in the Call of Duty and the sports game. I don't want to put a game that comes out every year in that category.
Fair enough, yeah.
I don't want to do that because that's too generic. I will say though, like, I'm a huge fan of Gran Turismo. I like Gran Turismo 7. I like Forza Horizon. I like both of them. I know a lot of people got their complaints on it, but as a person who, outside of playing the road rashes, I really wasn't big into racing games. I like the fact that the games look realistic, they look good. And there was a point in time all I did play was Gran Turismo for a second there. So I was in the last year, that game, honestly I could talk about the Spider-Mans and different games like that. I never got into like the Demon Souls or things like that.
So Elden Ring isn't there for you?
No, it's not. But I'm going to play it. So luckily enough, I've been threatened by somebody that's a subscriber of my channel, and he has literally paid for the game, and he said, you got to play it. So I made a goal in December. I told him December, so I could plan this out. I'm going to play the game and beat the game. So, well, not beat it, but I'm going to see how that goes, because apparently it's impossible to beat, right? Like,
it's a long road.
Yeah, I'm going to start playing it. Like I said,
if you're not into those games, I highly recommend you to use YouTube to your best.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to take advice from all my gaming community folks. I will say, though, one game I did play, and I was late to this game. I know it's been out forever, but I started playing Cuphead last year. Probably the worst mistake I could have ever made. My blood pressure probably going sky high. I probably haven't been the same since. I sky high because of that, and I go crazy playing that game. But I would definitely say Cuphead is up there too. Even though I get pissed off, I broke a controller over that game. By the way.
Ooh.
Yeah, I broke a controller.
Sure, I got mad. Do that.
Oh man, look, man. I have no shame in my game. I rage. Probably not as much as I do anymore because now I just realize it's just a game. But there are some games that get under my skin, and that's one of them. But like I said, I played Psychonauts last year. Psychonauts 2 was definitely a fun game. I know people don't really talk about it as much, but Psychonauts 2 was actually fun to me.
Oh yeah, I thought that game was phenomenal.
Actually really fun. So definitely Psychonauts. But like I said, for me, it's rough because if you look at my log hours or whatever you want to call it, my achievements, it's a lot of sports, a lot of them shooters. So I don't want to throw Call of Duty in there because that's just generic. Now, I will say this, forward thinking, I'm really going to, this Gotham Knights, it's got my eye, man. This Gotham Knights, I'm a sucker for superhero games. As a person who beat both of the Spider-Man games, I loved Miles Morales. I love the first Spider-Man. I beat both of them. Definitely enjoyed those. I love the Batman series with Arkham, whatever you want to call it, Asylum City, etc. So, yeah, I definitely enjoy some of the games. Like I said, some of these independent games. One game that I plan on playing, which is an old game. You ever heard of Deliver Us to the Moon or Deliver Us to the Moon?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I want to play that. I don't know why I want to play that. Don't ask why. I just one day I was on YouTube deep dive and I saw the video and I was like, this looks kind of eerie. I want to play it, so I may be dabbling into that as well.
Yeah, I think I'm with Stankma in the chat. He said Gotham Knights is day one. I think I'm there with him on that.
It's day one, man.
I've been throwing it back and forth whether it is or not, but like I was leaning towards like getting that Harry Potter in December, and then they announced that it's moving to like February. So now I'm thinking. So now I'm thinking, what's going to be my game for December? I'm guessing, or actually, I think Gotham Knights comes in October. Yeah, so shoot, that's going to be earlier. Man, there's so many dang games coming out at the end of this year. It's insane. You got Plague Tale, Gotham Knights, Callisto Protocol, God of War, High on Life. Did you see the trailer for that game today?
Yes, it looks very good.
You seen that boss fight?
Yes, that looks very good.
Those weapons talking to you were something else.
I was in a Discord group. I'm in a Discord group, and they've been bringing it up, and I had to go see myself because it really kept the Discord moving for some other reason. I was like, okay, let me see what these guys are talking about. And yeah, I'm actually thoroughly impressed at how it looks. Like I said, it's just so many games, man. And to me, I just really hope that we get some gems out of this. Because like I said, Saints Row, man, like people were just excited to see a new Saints Row, right? You know, the many years of dealing with Tommy Gadd and all them, like we want a new Saints Row. We know how crazy Saints Row can be, and the fact that I'm hearing more disappointment about it, it really hurts, man. It sucks. It sucks, man. So yeah, it's a lot of games coming out, man. And like I said, you know, for Xbox people, you know, I don't know when it's coming out, but Redfall.
Oh man, that game looks fire.
Oh, check this out. True story. It's on my YouTube channel. I actually interviewed the main character from Redfall. So her name is Novi, and the voice actor. I know her personally. Her name is Novine Crombie. She's a hell of a voice actress. She's actually been on Red Dead Redemption 2. She's been on several games. She is Layla Ellison, who is the main character from Redfall.
Right, and, the one with the curly hair, yeah.
So yeah, so we did a full interview, and I'm excited to see that game. So Redfall is on my radar, like I said. So yeah, man, like I said, to me, I catch myself playing a lot of the older games. Like, man, every once in a while I get sucked into playing GTA 5. I deleted it off my console.
Me too. I had to get it out of here.
I did, but what ended up happening is this: the minute they told us, "Oh, there's an update for PS5," here I go again. So yeah,
bought it again, didn't you? You spent that $10, didn't you?
Did I probably did. Yeah, I know I did. Yeah, I did. I know I did.
You say that with such shame.
Well, because I'm on a mini protest with that, man. Because I keep telling people quit buying shark cards, then they'll focus more on making GTA 6, which that's probably gonna be. That game can make and break a lot of gaming history for us because that is a super anticipated thing to happen in 10 years from now. We don't even know when it's coming out. So yeah, like I mean, you know, GTA 5. It's crazy that we've had that for 3 different console generations.
Yep.
I remember getting that on Xbox.
Nothing last generation.
Yeah, nothing.
I mean, we got Red Dead, which was phenomenal, but I'm talking about Grand Theft Auto. You didn't get nada for Grand Theft Auto.
And for Rockstar, and I understand it. You know, I know we're upset because we want them to make a new game, but for them, it's like, hell, y'all still playing GTA 5. But, you know, Red Dead Redemption, I hate the online didn't pan out. The storyline was a beautiful story. To this day, I think one of the 5 best storylines I've ever played. Rest in peace, Arthur Morgan. I'm sorry if I spoiled the game for you, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is a...
Well, by this time, you should have played.
Yeah. Like, even me, the person who's busy, if you have beat Red Dead Redemption 2, I don't know what you've been playing, man. And like I said, rest in peace to Arthur Morgan. We do not trust any O'Driscolls around here. Y'all know that.
Thank you. Absolutely. All right. I want you to tell me your favorite studio and the game that best represents it.
Favorite studio. You know what? I'm gonna go with Rockstar, man, because like I think it's just easy to do that. And to me, the best GTA game I ever played was Vice City. Rest in peace, Lance Vance. Y'all know
Lance.
Hey, Lance is a cool. I mean, look, the soundtrack, crazy game. Which, by the way, you want to talk about disappointments? That remake of GTA San Andreas.
Oh man,
don't get me started. So I'm sorry I forgot about that because in the calendar year, that is one of the worst games I probably ever played. And like I said, I'll go rock. I'll keep it generic on Rockstar with that GTA and Vice City, man, because I never would have thought one day that GTA world comes into an online facet later with GTA 4 and 5. So, you know, I honestly can't think of a bad GTA game. I mean, even the ones that were top where you were looking down, you know, GTA 3 with Tommy, man, you know, then you got 4, then you got 5. I mean, you just Vice City, San Andreas. The storylines are endless, man, and they're historic games where people go back and play them. Like, and then like
that's
I said,
why I was
so
pissed. That's why I was so pissed about the remake of that. I was just like, man, y'all couldn't have disrespected this game any further than you already.
Yeah, and then like I said, with Red Dead, you got the you got John Marston, you got the Red Dead 1, then Red Dead 2. Like Arthur Morgan, I tell people all the time, I've never been more emotionally attached to a character. Besides, I mean, the tuberculosis, man, I felt like I had to, like, I ain't gonna lie to you, man, I was down. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. That game it had you in a whirlwind, man, because you saw all this happening. And you just knew he would come out guns blazing, and then, of course, he dies, right? So, like I said, shout out to Red Dead 2. I wish the online was better, but definitely a beautiful visual game. And I know we probably won't get another Red Dead for 20 years, but man, like, beautiful game. I think it's, you know, like I said, GTA, you know, Vice City, it really changed a lot of stuff on that PS2, you know, that generation. And we really started seeing the company. And of course, you know, a lot of people love San Andreas, but to me, Vice City, because of the time, the Miami, the vibe, the music.
Music was just on point.
Yeah,
the club you went to dance and stuff like that.
All I did was stay up at the top of the club and just shoot, and the police were trying to come in. I just started shooting the whole time. Like, I just wanted to cause havoc, man. So, yeah, man, shout out to Vice City. Shout out to Rockstar for that, even though I hate Rockstar right now for many reasons because they won't bring us a new game. But, look, I'm a creature of the bad habit, right? Like, I tell people not to play the game, and then I get suckered in. Like, I just re-downloaded GTA 5 again, and I told people not to do it. But, like I said, at the end of the day, they bring legacy type games. You just can't go wrong with them. There's a lot of other studios that I enjoy. But for the most part, I've never seen Rockstar really miss outside of maybe the Red Dead Online too. But other than that, I mean, yeah, it's a game that the microtransactions can get ridiculous, like with the shark cards. But there's people today. I like the fact that from an expansion standpoint, people on PC, they do the what is it called when they do the character type thing when somebody's a policeman, you know, they do that kind of stuff. So they've expanded this game. You know, you start seeing these mods and stuff, and I like what people are doing with GTA, and it's just like, damn, it's almost real life. So I'm definitely gonna say Rockstar for sure for that one.
Man, I'll never forget, because Vice City is my favorite one too. I'll never forget doing the car missions for Lawrence Taylor.
Yes.
In that game to get the best cars, so they would end up on my sales floor, on my showcase floor.
Yeah.
And I'd drive them out of the window every time.
Yeah, and it's crazy because that game, I just wish that they made a better one than that remake that they called a new one. Man, that game is a classic game. People don't realize how great that game is in just so many facets. I know, like I said, San Andreas relates more because of the hip hop, sort of cool like vibe, but man, that Vice City is something else.
Right, absolutely. All right, and then the last main question I'm going to ask you is, what 2 games would you want to have revived?
Oh, well, that's gonna be easy. So I'm gonna stick with Road Rash.
Yeah, let's go.
I know they be making these other Road Rash versions or variants of it, and it's not Road Rash. It's not called Road Rash, so I won't make it Road Rash. So give me a new Road Rash. you could do a lot now. Obviously, with the graphics, it won't take much to make a Road Rash game. I think. Obviously, it has to be an EA game because that's the claim went on 64. Yeah, it is what it is. So I would say definitely Road Rash, and I think the second game that comes to mind would be the wrestling games. Like I told you, THQ Aki. Now we do know, and I'm pretty sure you know this. AEW.
AEW.
They're doing that engine, so I'm excited to play that, man. So yeah, if you gave me, I'll tell you right now, if they told me today for I'll go even higher, $150, we put this game in HD for your new console. Revenge. I'm buying this game just to play it online. Just think about it. We never played these games online. Think about that. You never played these type of games online. So could you imagine playing No Mercy online?
Ooh.
Like that would be a war. So those two games come to mind. I think it's time for us to get a new NBA Jam, NBA Street.
NBA Street.
NFL Street, of course. I would like EA to get out their tails and try to, obviously college football is coming back, but I would like to see NBA Live be great again. One day, you never know. We are getting a boxing game, so we'll see on that. There's quite a few of the guys. You know what? I would like to see a new Cruising World. We had a cruise. When's the last time we had a Cruising World game?
You talking about Cruising USA and stuff like that?
Yeah. When's the last time we had one of those games?
They have cruising games on Switch.
So yeah, they got those, but like for like Xbox and different things on those.
Like what I want to see is like something that a little bit more real to life. Kind of like I hear you on that whole cruising like USA. I wish that game would just get completely redone so I could actually see stuff that's like real and drive through real areas. Just I mean, make it kind of a little bit longer, but similar pace to the Cruising USA that we all knew and loved.
Yeah, and lastly, I think one game I do want to see, and for some odd reason, I don't know why. I know they did it on 360, but you remember the side-scroll X-Men game in the arcade where you can get Colossus, he's screaming? I know they had it on 360, right? But they never really did anything to remaster it. Because like we got Ninja Turtles recently, which by the way, I love Shredder's Revenge. I'm a huge Ninja Turtles guy. I can't wait to see Turtles in Time on HD. Like I can't wait to play all those again. So yeah, I just want games like that, man. Some of the retro games. But if I pick one, it got to be Road Rash, man. Like I'm a certified Road Rash fan. Like when I tell you, I know history of Road Rash, even some of the character history. People have made fake stories about the characters, all kind of stuff. Like I can play Road Rash all day. If I had to go on a deserted island and take one game, I'll take that 3DO or the PlayStation 1 and take Road Rash and go away.
When you used to lose on the earlier Road Rashes, when it just had the text them talking trash to you, that used to trigger me.
You know what's crazy is the one guy that played Biff, the real person. I actually found the real person that played Biff. That they just took the CGI, whatever it is, that made him a cartoon. That's a real. All those people are real, apparently. So, yeah, definitely that. Road Rash is insane. Like I got a weird sort of like I like really bad, shitty games, as they say. Like I didn't like Road Rash actually made me bad. I just don't know it. Because I'm stuck on it. But like I'll give you an example. One of my favorite games, and Hall will laugh when I say this, I'm pretty sure. But probably one of the worst games ever on Sega Genesis, Pit Fighter. I play Pit Fighter. I'll tell you right now, if you pulled out Pit Fighter right now, I am ready to play Pit Fighter. Pit Fighter is a terrible game. But like I said, when you grew up as a kid, you didn't know, you were just having to play a game. So like, it was fighting, and it was a terrible fighting game because they did the Guardians of the Hood game, all them weird looking games, and they sucked. But yeah, like I said, that would be definitely. And also another game that I'm looking forward to, I think it's next year, is Street Fighter. So we'll see what that looks like as well. For guys.
Okay.
So yeah, but definitely Road Rash. Give me a Road Rash.
All right. So to wrap this all up, what frustrates you, and also what would be a dream come true to you in gaming? So 2 questions in one.
Okay, so what frustrates me in gaming it may be social media. Um, this idea that we got to just hate each other because one likes another console versus the other. Um, I'm not a big fan of, and I used to indulge into the console wars a long time ago, but now it's to the point now where I just enjoy gaming. So like, if you got a Switch only, I got a Switch too. Let's talk about it. You know, if you got if you're PlayStation only, I got a PlayStation. I'm not all about the gaming console because I feel like it takes away so much energy, man. Like I don't, like, I can only imagine as a kid what it would have been like on social media, but I do think gaming social media has been a gift and a major curse because what we have done is instead of just having an open, fun conversation about gaming, it always turns to this bitter war, which leads, and it leads to people either getting in trouble behind it, you know, different things. I mean, I've heard all the Twitter stories, people pulling guns out on people, you know, just it's crazy stuff, man. It's all over gaming, man. It's like, bro, we supposed to enjoy these games. Like I remember as being a kid, and obviously we didn't have social media, but if you had a Nintendo or 60 or a Sega, nobody cared. You just had a game console. Was there any wars there? Yeah, the companies were going at it, but nobody really cared. You just played video games. And like I said, you enjoy any video game that you got your head on. Now it's like, well, if you only like Xbox, you're not a real gamer. Or Xbox has no exclusives. I hear that all the time, and I'm like, damn, bro, just let people, you know, play or enjoy what they like. Like at the end of the day, at least they're able to play games. Like, you know, like it's one thing for people to come in and talk gaming and never play these games. But if you like Xbox, you like Xbox. If you love PlayStation, you get PlayStation. Or if you like guys like both of us, you get all these consoles. You want to be able to enjoy them all, so you can say, hey, well, I'm not just an Xbox guy. I got a PlayStation too, and that's what I like about them both. So I think definitely social media is definitely I would say the bad thing because nothing is ever perfect. Like no matter, like it's just nothing is ever perfect in the game too. Now I will say the great thing about the game community is what's happening right now. You know, meeting new people, seeing you doing your thing, seeing all just dope people being out there because there's a lot of bad apples. But there's also a few good apples, man, in that community that I think people should embrace. And the fact that we all able to join together and talk games and like, I'm happy at the fact that like now I know that when some of these games come out, I'm gonna hit you up like, hey, let's jump on, let's get this going. You know, we'll connect on a different level, man. And I never would have thought that like, you know, gaming would have put all of us in a situation where we can eventually make income or make it career based. So yeah, the advancement of, like I said, social media can be a gift for the curse, but at the end of the day, man, like I said, I will take the good with it, which is people like yourself. You know, shout out to my guy Strick. I tell Strick all the time, he got to keep on working. I know Strick sometimes gets involved. He's been really good about it lately, you know, staying away from that. And like I said, he's done a great job with his Discord. And, you know, shout out to my guy Hall, who I grew up with. You know, he's doing this thing as well in this gaming community. He sort of jumped out of that branch. And shout out to people like Stank, yourself, everybody that's in this chat, man. Like, I enjoy talking to y'all about gaming. I enjoy the fact that y'all look at my content and realize it ain't just sports. He's actually talking gaming with these athletes. And like I said, it's a blessing to have that. But like I said, definitely, I think that bad apple, that bad energy of the online community when it comes to the social media, if we can get that out, and I look, it's fun and entertaining sometimes to jump in those Twitter spaces, but for the most part, man, I just think at the end of the day, man, we really gotta just say, hey, we're gaming, y'all. Like, who would ever thought we would be able to sit here and talk gaming on a social media app? But like I said, that is the disappointment. But like I said, the thing that I do enjoy is the fact that we made gaming more than just about gaming. It's a lifestyle. We got family. A lot of us become family, even though we're not blood related. A lot of us have careers behind it, changed our lives. You know, when we in our worst moments, you know, I remember getting awfully sick behind COVID. And I remember like nothing could keep me at my energy high. And then all of a sudden I started playing Spider-Man and I felt pretty good doing it, even though it took all my energy away and I was probably never gonna move for the next day or two, but playing that video game for just that 1 hour made me feel good. Or like when I felt like I was being trapped inside of a house because of COVID, where none of us could go nowhere, the one thing that kept me going in the gaming community was the fact that I was able to communicate with y'all, for people that's in the know, So yeah, it's a gift and a curse, man. But I would say the best gift is that we got each other, and I think that we got to take care of each other. We got to help each other in this gaming community, promote each other. Just like a video. I tell people all the time, just like the video, share the video, a simple retweet. I tell people anytime, because I'm so busy. But if you got a new video come out, tweet me the video, send me a DM. I'll make sure I retweet it and put some love behind it, man, because we got to support each other. So, like I said, I'm happy where the gaming community is headed. I think that it is some bright spots in the gaming community. I think that now that we're technically out of the COVID state, even though COVID's still here, I think that we're going to start getting more gaming conventions and different things where we may be able to actually see each other and hang out and different things. I think that's going to be the greatest thing ever, because I think a lot of us made more friends during COVID than ever. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, and that's my MO, is to start to fly and drive out to some of these conventions and meeting these people that make this stuff, and meeting these creators out here that I talk to every other day, week, or month. It'd be fantastic. But we're getting towards the end, and I want to just ask you if you have any questions for me before I close it out.
Nah, man, I really don't have any questions, man, but I will say this, man. I enjoyed this. I've been on tons of interviews, and the fact that, like I said, aesthetically, man, I enjoy everything that you got in the background. That really got my most attention. Like, it's almost my childhood right there behind me. And, it's just cool. I see the Rock'em Sock'em. I remember having that and getting in trouble behind that, the Rock'em Sock'em game. I just, like, man, I'm happy to be able to see that there's more good people out here in the gaming community. Like I said, when Stank sort of put you on to me. Stank did the same thing to me. Stank hit me up and was like, you need to check this dude's channel. And I said, well, I was watching the video. I think it's dope. I never thought about coming on the channel or whatever. I just said, I just enjoy the content, watch people talk. And like I said, when you came to me, I was definitely down. And man, like I said, but just my advice to you, man, as a person that's in the sort of media field, keep doing what you're doing, stay positive. I know you're going to have, trust me, you're going to have a lot of haters, a lot of people that's going to be coming at you a certain kind of way because you are trying to bring positivity. Just keep doing what you do, man. Don't fall in that trap, because people are watching. Trust me. When I tell you people are watching, I know people are watching you. I know people that have that work for gaming companies that are watching you. So just keep that in mind when you out here talking to people and stuff like that, because you never know what opportunity you could get from it. Like I said, definitely be opinionated. If you don't like a game, be honest about it. But at the same time, understand this could be life-changing for you, like it has been for me. And like I said, you'll be able to not only, and I know people frown upon this, but the fact that, we talk about these games all day, these companies don't even know our names. But some of these companies know my name now. Some of them definitely do, because I'm fortunate to say that, hey, when the game comes out, they send me a code or two, right? So that's a dope feeling. But at the same time, I feel like people like you that really sit here and talk about these games all day, you shouldn't have to pay for another video game, because you promote the video games to the point where people want to play that video game. People want to talk about this thing. I think that, just keep doing what you're doing, man, and stay positive. Keep pushing that gaming community in the right way, man, because you can change everything that we sort of get upset about. And like I said, don't worry about these people out here that's going to say, oh, he just want to be nice, or he doesn't. Criticism is criticism. At the end of the day, they only going to criticize because they want to be you and they want to do what you do, man. So I love your channel. I've definitely been watching. I'll be at the games trying to, every so often I may miss like the first 20 minutes or so, but I try to watch 30 minutes every day or something that you do. I may not be able to watch the full video in one day, but I'll watch 30 minutes here, then I catch the other 30 another day, and I enjoy.
If you spend 5 seconds watching my stuff, I appreciate anybody that comes through just to check it out and understand the vibe that I'm trying to come with, and just the welcoming, the need to like try to make this culture just more welcoming for everybody. So like that's why I had like Strict on here, is because people have like they either love them or hate them, and I'm just like, yo, like just bring yourself here and let's just talk, so you have so people can see you in a different light, because people read a lot of his texts, and even when he's in his spaces, he's loud sometimes, right?
Yeah, he's very he is the voice.
He's very vocal, and I try to tell people, like, he's passionate about it. He can come off wild and definitely unnecessary sometimes, but he's a person at the end of the day, just like the rest of us.
Well, he's also passionate about gaming. He's passionate about gaming. I tell him, I say that's a gift and a curse that he has. And like I tell him all the time, just like I tell anybody, man, also remember, people may not have the same knowledge that you have when it comes to gaming. So there's intimidation that comes along with that. Like if somebody walked into that area that you're in right now and they see those consoles, they go, whoa. And it's like they know they're not on the level of what you have in that gaming world, right? And what you have. But like I tell Strickland, like I tell you, man, just keep doing what y'all doing, man, because like I said the other day, what comes along with success is a lot of hate. And I tell people this all the time, like, man, you should hear some of the things that I hear. I see tweets all the time. How did he get in the locker room? How did he get a chance to talk to this dude? Instead of asking me, hey, how did he do it? It's almost directed as like, why is he there and not me?
Right. Or he doesn't deserve for whatever reason.
He doesn't deserve to do this. And I tell people all the time, man, just take every advice that you can get for somebody that's either remotely in the field or whatever, and just stay positive, man, because like positivity gonna get you 100% further. Because I was one of those people that tried to do the whole heel run and, oh man, you hate me, I'm clapping back. Man, after a while, man, I just realized, man, you do that, you're gonna be stuck with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you don't want to be stuck. So, like I said, man, keep doing what you're doing, man. I love the channel. And like I said, everybody that's watching this, everybody, when I retweet this video, I need y'all to subscribe to this man's channel. Just leave a comment. Put an exclamation point. I don't care. Just support this guy, man. Y'all see his background back there. That's history. That means that guy, he knows his stuff, man. And he's doing his thing out here, man. I appreciate what you're doing, man, for real.
Well, I really appreciate you for being here. To exit out, I always do the same thing at the end of my show. I want you to tell me, or I want you to describe to me gaming in just 3 words.
3 words to describe gaming. Love, life, passion. We love gaming. Gaming is a life. Gaming is a lifestyle. And gaming is all about passion.
Love, life, passion. I like that.
So, like, you love gaming. Gaming is a lifestyle. It's about gaming is a part of our life, and gaming brings passion. We sit here for hours and we fight about these games because it's a passion behind these games. So, yeah, man, definitely love. Is the number one thing because you got to love it. We all love gaming, even though it can be a letdown with some of these games coming out, right? We don't know where these companies are going, but at the end of the day, we still love the bad with the good. And like I said, it's a life. It's a part of our life. Gaming has changed our lives in so many ways, man. Like, you gotta understand, like, for a lot of us, like this, man, like, growing up, we were called the geeks or the nerds or the guys that weren't cool, but now everybody game, the cool people game. So now you're a cool person if you game. So, it is a lifestyle. It's a part of our lives forever. Even if we quit playing video games tomorrow, there's a part of my life where I'm going to say, man, majority of my life, all I did was play video games. And then, like I said, passion. Look, man, we sit here all day talking about these games. We got to realize, man, we used to be out there for midnight releases in cold, heat, rain, sleet, and snow just to get a video game. And we could have woke up
to people we would never talk to.
Yeah. Talk to people, and there's a passion behind it, man. Like that passion, that fire, like what Strick does, like what different people do. There's passion behind that because we want the best for our community. Yeah, sometimes we do get caught up in those things, but that passion is what makes it keep going. Like the passion of us wanting, we anticipating games, getting online just to play, be competitive, pass on the next generation. That's passion. So yeah, man, love, life, passion, man. That's what gaming is all about.
Absolutely. Well, this was a fantastic episode. I had a really good time hanging out and kicking it and talking and learning a lot about you. It's been over 2.5 hours, and usually I try to keep it around 2 hours, but man, like when a conversation's good, it's just good. You just can't just hit the stop button all of a sudden. So I really appreciate you for being here. SeeHendo, you can see all of his stuff in the description below, or at least the stuff that I could pick up and put out there. So I'm going ahead and hit the subscribe button on his channel as well. Check him out on Twitter, and even join his Discord if you have the opportunity to do that as well. Really cool dude. And really keep an eye out for his upcoming shows that he does with all these different, sports, or people in sports and basketball, baseball, football, singers, and all these different artists and stuff. Like, he's out there, y'all. He is literally out there talking to people about the things that we love. So definitely support my man with that one. Absolutely. But I appreciate everybody that was in the chat this evening. Keeping it busy. Stankma, I always appreciate you for being here. That's why I made you a mod on my channel. Venom Rain, I really appreciate you for sticking around, listening to the show. Hall, Too Big, Matt Likes Games, and my brother. I really appreciate all of you guys so much. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you haven't already. Share this out so other people can learn about SeeHendo. And then you'll see me back this Thursday with Crystal D. Smith talking about her history in gaming and whatnot. So we'll be seeing a different side, I'm sure, to gaming, because everybody has their own story. I love talking to people and seeing how that all played out, how it goes, because no one has the exact same lifestyle or way of coming up. Everyone comes up differently. We might have all played similar things, but we definitely played them at different times, for the most part, and we definitely have our own stories to talk about within these crazy games and whatnot. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody for coming out, and I appreciate you, SeeHendo, for coming out. This is Ham Solo 05 Gaming on Behind Them Sticks on the YouTube channel TSWS Gaming. And as I always say, keep it gaming or keep it moving. Peace out.
Welcome to the Behind Them Sticks podcast, brought to you by TSWS Gaming.
Come and talk to me,
Lennard Ray.
come on. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby. Listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you. If you quit playing, won't you take a chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Look, see, we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you. No doubt about it, Boosie. I'm a Midwest king, looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know, and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass on the floor, and I see what's real. No disrespect, I just tell it like it is. Do you ever want some kids? What your ultimate goals? Maybe I can help with those. The mo was broke when he made you a blessing. You looking like a whole buffet, and I need some seconds. You say you had promiscuous ways, that was back in the day. I'll be alive, I say I did it. That shit was a phase. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you, if you quit playing. Won't you take a chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Lady, you so far ahead of these others, just like a ship on the horizon. Picking up on your vibe, signal stronger than Verizon. All the thoughts that I've been contemplating, ain't no time for faking or debating. You the one, ain't no mistaking. Look, I see you swag different. Always carry yourself like you ready, you know the mission. I had to know you.